Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can go to holybatcast.com or find Holy BatCast on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you'll find us. If you're a big fan of the show, you can do that on Patreon. You go to patreon.com/holybatcast and support us, and that would be amazing. You don't have to. It's a no pressure situation, but if you want to, the option is there. And so I got to give a shout out to some patrons here, guys. First one, we have a brand new patron, Kalina Style.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an alias, but hey, she or he can call themselves whatever they like.
Well, my daughter's name's Kalina. That's why I'm kind of...
Well, yeah, but it's Kalina also follows us on X and does lots of Catwoman related stuff on X. So Kalina Style, and so they just, again, I think they're female, but I don't want to assume anything. But yeah, now they have become an official patron. So Kalina, you're awesome. Thank you for your support. Thanks for continuing to listen to the show. And then becoming a patron is just really sweet, and we really appreciate that. So we appreciate you, Kalina. Thank you. And keep spreading the Catwoman love out there. You're making up for people like Jamie who don't love Catwoman. But we love that you love her. And then I got to give another shout out to another patron who upped their pledge, Eric Soman. Eric, thank you so much. That is really nice and very generous of you, and we really appreciate it. So Eric and Kalina, you guys rock. This episode goes right out to you. Thank you all for everything. Thanks for being part of our family. We appreciate you. So again, anybody out there who wants to do that, you can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. We're a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. So if you're looking for other shows to check out, you can check those out at rf4rm.com. And finally, as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd. It's always just my name, Andy DiGenova. I guess it means I'm the only one, which is fine. I'm okay with that. So this episode, we're going to do another little random fun ranking episode. It's been in the back of the list for a minute, and it's been another quiet week. One of these days, all the news is going to drop, and we're going to be scrambling to catch up. But for now, kind of enjoying the lull, or trying to. So what we're doing is we're going to talk about some of our favorite Batman movie posters. And joining me for that fun, he's back again. It's Jamie Drewley. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Happy weekend. Here we go again. It's Batman.
I like Batman. I don't know if you know that, but I'm into this Batman thing.
I don't believe you. Prove it.
I have a friend with a Batman tattoo.
That's all the proof we need. Also joining us, one of our favorite guest stars. He's back again. It's Mr. Preston Willis. Hey, Preston.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie, I think you proved that back in '89 with the bat symbol in your head. So
I did shave the bat symbol in the back of my head.
That is true.
I think you're safe. Yes, gentlemen, we're going to be talking a fun topic today. Something I'm kind of surprised that you guys haven't covered to this point here on Holy BatCast. Our favorite Batman posters. Yeah, this is fun. We've got a top 10 list. I mean, I'm really excited to hear what the listeners have as well.
Yeah, and I got to give credit where credit is due. First of all, I agree. I'm shocked that we never thought of this before. We've talked about so many aspects of Batman over the years, from music to actors to bat suits to Batmobiles to episodes of the animated series, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it never crossed my mind to go, hey, let's talk about some Batman posters. And it was my wife's idea. It was Kathryn's idea. This was maybe a month ago, maybe a little longer, but I was trying to, I'm like, I don't know what to do this week. I just don't know. And it was going to be a week of you and me, Preston. And she's the one who go, what about movie posters? I was like, oh my God, duh, of course. And I think that was when we decided to do the Batman 89 script instead, because you were not afraid of homework. Bless you.
Oh, yes.
But this has sort of been like a good fallback up until then. And now the day has come. So big shout out to Kathrynn DiGenova for being cool and smart and awesome.
Content creator.
Yes. So I love her helping me with my brainstorming sessions on what to do for this podcast. It's hard with 400 and we're at 437 is this episode. So
holy cow.
You just wait till you get to 1,000.
Let's just slow down there, buckaroo.
Pump the brakes, Preston. We already got a lot of feedback about I don't think I've got another 10 years of this in me. And
That's right.
Now he's going to get wound up. No way are we going to do 1,000, and it will just flood the mailbox. Just leave it be.
You say wait till 1,000, and I just picture myself as old Steve Rogers going, "No, I don't think I will." Well, we are going to talk movie posters. Also, there's another little bonus. Speaking of Kathrynn, a couple days ago, Kathrynn and I took a night out, took it a little date night, and we did a Batman escape room here in Orlando. So we're going to share our review and thoughts about the Batman escape room. It's officially licensed Batman. It is not just like, one that people are doing on the sly and hoping nobody notices. It's an officially licensed Batman escape room, and I'm going to share that with you guys too. And then, as always, we're going to check in with our listeners and read some emails. So, before we get to all that stuff, I've got to start by giving a shout out to our friends over at Manscaped. So, this episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below the waist grooming. Clear out that winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like springtime flowers. Embrace the season and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use the code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. That's BATSCAPED. You get to save a little money, you get free shipping, and you're going to get some good products in the meantime. So, don't know what you're in the market for. Maybe some of your stuff is getting old. Maybe some of your stuff is wearing out. I'll tell you guys, it's time for me to reorder my deodorant. Also, I'm out of cologne. So I'm going to reorder the cologne too. Got to do all that stuff. But maybe you want the trimmer, the Lawnmower 5.0, best trimmer you're ever going to get. The Handyman is the face shaver. Also amazing, reasonably priced, and I love it. The cologne, the deodorant, the boxers. Maybe some of your boxers are getting kind of old. Happens to the best of us. Don't wait for Christmas. Just get them now. So yeah, whatever it is you might be in the mood for, or you might need the Beard Hedger Pro Kit if you've got a beard, whatever. Go to manscaped.com, do a little shopping, do a little perusing when you're supposed to be working. Check out Manscaped. And if you're going to buy anything, just please use the promo code BATSCAPE. Just get 20% off and free shipping. That way, you're taking care of yourself, you're treating yourself, you're saving some money, you're helping support Manscaped, and you're supporting Holy BatCast in the process. See, everybody wins. So please go to manscaped.com, do a little shopping, and use that promo code BATSCAPE to get your 20% off and your free shipping. I think you're going to like the stuff you get because I know I like my Manscaped stuff. I know Jamie likes his, Brendan likes his. Can't speak for Preston. I can't remember if he's taken the dive yet, but a lot of the listeners out there have taken the dive, and it always makes me happy when they go, actually, this stuff is great. I'm like, I know, but I'm glad that you think so too.
Yeah, you guys sold me. So yeah, I'm on the squad.
You're all right. All right. Another Manscaped house. Add to the collection. Cool. All righty then. Let's get this other party started. It is time to talk about our main topic this week. We are going to be talking about our favorite Batman movie posters. So what we did is the three of us all came up with a top 10 list, our top 10 Batman movie posters, and then, as always, I put it out on the Facebook page and let the listeners vote for their top 10. Some of you seemed overwhelmed by the request, and that's okay. I get it. But for those of you who committed and decided to really give it the thought and to think about it and put down your top 10, I love it, and I appreciate it. And the results? I'll just say I like the results. It'll be fun to talk about. Here are the rules I put out there, though, is they have to be Batman movie posters for theatrically released movies. So stuff that actually goes to theaters that you would see hanging in the lobby of your local Cineplex. So not straight to video, not the animated, something like that, but theatrical. It also had to be like an official theatrical movie poster. So not a fan-made poster, not one of those after-the-fact posters from like a Mondo or other boutique type site like that would do the special artwork. That stuff is great. I freaking love some of that artwork, but just to make it clear, like these are ones that you would actually see when you go to the movie theater. But yeah, so that being said, let's do our top 10. Jamie, why don't you start with your number 10?
So I had a little difficulty with this. I'll just explain as quick as I can. I decided that instead of picking 10 posters from The Dark Knight, my favorite movie of all time, and I love so many of the posters for that, that I was going to try and pick one from each theatrically released Batman-centric movie. Not all of these are like Batman solo movies, but actually most of them are. Now I'm scanning through it. But anyway, my first one that I am going to pick is from The Dark Knight Rises. I would call it The Legend Ends because that's literally what the poster says. It's like a shot in the rain. It's like a black and white poster. Bane has his back to you, and there's a shattered Batman mask in the foreground of it.
Love this one.
Yeah. I love that choice.
And another caveat is a lot of these I picked based on my emotional response more so than just the general design of them. Like I would see this poster and it would trigger some kind of, big emotional response, not necessarily because I think like the artwork is the best or the design is the best, but just because of how I felt looking at the poster. And this poster got me, I was excited for the movie anyway, let's be realistic, but that one really got me turned up for it. So.
I think that's fair, and maybe that's worth mentioning is I did both. I certainly considered ones that I have an emotional attachment to, but then to help really narrow down the list and help rank them, I thought sort of the order I would want to hang them on the wall of being like, okay,
Yeah.
if I love both of these, which one would I want on if I only have one spot on the wall, which one would I put up? And I kind of use that to really make the list. And so, yeah, I think all of that is valid. You're all right. So you got The Dark Knight Rises, the broken cowl in the foreground, and Bane in the background. The Legend Ends. Okay. Perfect. Preston, what's your number 10?
Yes, number 10. Gosh, I went with a pick that I did not think of initially. This is a movie that a lot of people, I've seen make the argument that this is their favorite Batman movie. And if not their favorite, certainly one of. I went with the really only one that I'm aware of as far as when it was released in theaters, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Love this artwork. I think it depicts just the style and the animation, really good with what we get. We obviously see the cowl of the Phantasm, and we get a full kind of Batman spread winged shot there. So I'm going to go with that one, man. Love the movie, and I would love the poster on my wall.
Excellent. And you're right. This is the only official one sheet for Mask of the Phantasm.
Nice.
There was another artwork that was all in red that was the cover of the comic book adaptation.
Okay, that's yes.
And I have a t-shirt of that. And then there have been like subsequent artwork for DVD and Blu-ray and stuff like that. But yes, as far as the official movie poster, this is the one and only.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, then my number 10, I am starting, and this is definitely a sentimental pick. And it is the teaser poster for Batman Returns. And I feel like I've mentioned it in the past, but this is the one that is literally just the silhouette of the head of the bat symbol on a white background, black silhouette of just the head of the bat signal, and it says Returns June 19th. Super minimalist, very little. But the reason I had to pick it is because this was my first official confirmation that Batman Returns was finally coming out. This was hanging in the theater before I ever saw a trailer, before I ever saw a commercial, and I think before they started actually reporting on the movie's production in like Comic Scene or Fangoria or any of those magazines that used to come out. So I was going to the movie theater, I want to say it was like Christmas of 91. And I always would look at the posters because specifically I wanted to see if there would be a new Batman or other superhero movie coming out. And I remember seeing this on the wall of the movie theater, going to the movie theater. I believe my grandma took me because it was Christmas time, and seeing this, I lost my mind. I was like, finally, the new Batman movie's coming out. And it's all I needed was that head that said Returns June 19th. And then the only date in my brain for months on end was June 19th, Batman Returns. So this one, I also feel like has sort of been forgotten over the years. You don't hear about it. You don't see it too much.
It's funny you say that, because as I was scanning for my Batman Returns poster, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It feels like it's been overshadowed and kind of lost, but oh my God, for me, just seeing this on the wall was enough for me to lose my mind.
yeah, it's terrific. It really is. I much had the same reaction as you seeing it in the theater, because back then I went all the time. And yeah, I mean, I got mega excited about that too. But honestly, that's not my favorite one from Returns. But we'll get to that.
Ha.
Well, I should say this too, because you brought it up, Jamie, is I didn't say one per movie, but I did try to spread the love.
Exactly.
So I was like, because same, like you could pick 10 posters for just The Dark Knight, you know,
And I would have if I hadn't restrained myself. So.
But so yeah, so like I have, well, very little overlap. Let me say that way before I get to the rest of the list, because I also tried to spread the love and represent a lot of the different Batman movies. Because yeah, it could be very easy to just fall down the rabbit hole and pick a bunch from the same movie, because these days, yeah, you get 20 posters per movie. Times have changed. So anyway, that is, yeah, my first choice. And again, more of a sentimental one than it is that again, there are plenty of other posters I'd put on my wall before that, but I just, the memory of seeing that for the first time, that's all I needed. And I was in.
I just have to make a quick comment. It's something that you noted. Jamie, what a sweet, innocent time it was when we only knew of upcoming films' existence by the teaser posters.
Right. The teaser posters, if you were lucky, you caught like an Entertainment Weekly broadcast,
Yes.
a couple months before the movie came out, or, the hardcores might have seen it in like a Cinescape magazine or something
A
like
wizard
that.
or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like, stuff getting leaked online every single day kind of thing. It was just a different time. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
We didn't know, like, people's contracts to know like who would be involved, etc. It was a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Like you knew it was coming, but this was the first confirmation that I ever saw officially, and it was a simpler time. I also, a little off topic, I will also never forget seeing the teaser poster for the Captain America movie in 1990 in the movie theater.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, oh my.
I'm not even sure I realized that was theatrically released.
It wasn't. This is where I'm going.
Oh.
It was in production. They made the poster. They released it to movie theaters. It was on the walls of the movie theaters. I saw it. I was so excited. I lost my mind.
Gosh.
I couldn't wait to see a Captain America movie. And then you heard nothing.
Was that like the image of him like flinging the shield in front of him? Or?
Nope. It was just an image of the shield.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Google it. Captain America teaser poster 1990. So yeah, it is just an image of the shield. It said Captain America coming soon, I think, something. And I was like, but I saw the poster in the theater. It's got to be coming out. It's got to be coming out. And I was going nuts going, when is this movie coming out? I even went up to the box office of the movie theater and I was like, do you have any information on new movies? Do you know when the Captain America movie is coming out? And they were like, we don't know. But that
would have been what, like 11?
Yeah. I would have been 11. But yeah, and then eventually it went straight to video. But I was like, that poster, I saw the poster in the theater. It had to come out, and it eventually did. So
I have to say that is actually a pretty badass poster.
Yeah, right. It's good.
It's coming spring 1990 to theaters everywhere. That, my friend, is a lie.
Liars. They were toying with my little 11-year-old brain. I just wanted to see Captain America in a movie. Fortunately, when the movie went straight to video, it did not disappoint. And it was everything I dreamt it ever could be.
That movie is straight up garbage, but I'm not going to lie and tell you I don't own it.
I own it. Are you kidding me? Of course I own it. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. But my point is as a kid, all you could do was peruse the posters on the wall, and that's how you got your info.
Man,
even if
for
the
people that have never seen that, they talk about movies not adhering to the source material and whatnot. How the hell did we get an Italian Red Skull?
Just cause.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, number 9, Jamie.
Okay, so this one, guys, I needed to give some love to this movie because I still have a soft spot. I've always loved this movie. Uh, I kind of cheated with this one because the poster that I picked is from Britain, because that, to me, that as I was scanning through Google Images, that was the best looking one that I found, and I would be happy to have this on my wall just because of what it is. It's from Batman 1966. It is the British release movie poster. It's a horizontal versus vertical design. Batman and Robin right above the Batman logo, and Riddler, Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Batmobile are all also in appearance here. And it says, "Wham! Now it's on the cinema screen in color." So yeah, I like this poster. The only thing I would maybe change about this is the pinkish hue of the Batman lettering maybe should have been something else. But other than that, I think that's kind of a cool poster. You know, it's classic Hollywood from the era and whatnot, but I like this one.
Excellent. Check the chat, Jamie.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that. Because guess what?
Oh.
This is my number 9.
Oh,
Is it
that's
really?
amazing.
It's my number 9. Yeah,
I didn't figure there would be a shot in the world of anybody else picking this one.
It is Batman the movie from 1966. This was the UK poster, because I'll be honest, the North America poster, it's fine.
So many of the posters have Batman in red instead of gray for the suit base.
Yeah, it's fine. And it also feels like a very, very, very archaic Photoshop where you can almost see the characters cut out by scissor. Like, because their edges are all very angular and weird.
Funny.
Whereas the UK poster that you talked about, Jamie, that is also my number 9, it's actual artwork. It's beautiful. It's colorful. It's so cool. It's so retro. And this one, I didn't just want to have on my wall. This one I had in like a postcard size, and I had it up for years.
Really?
Yeah. This one,
I don't recall ever having seen this before about 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, dude, same.
Yeah, this one I got a print of once upon a time. I don't remember when or even from who. I honestly want to say it was my mom who gave it to me. That sounds right, as I feel like it might have been a postcard that she sent to me, and I had it up on my bulletin board for years because of how good the artwork is. So I love this movie too. I love this version of Batman, and the artwork on this UK Batman the movie poster is beautiful. It's colorful, it's vibrant, and it's just perfectly 60s. I love it.
Yeah, this thing is gorgeous. I love this. I love the horizontal, style that it has, and I mean, it's got everything you need up there, right? I think that's the thing I'm going to say a lot this morning is like some of these posters, they just they're this, not necessarily this one, but some that we're going to talk about and some that we already have are so simplistic, but it's like, hey, it's all you need to get excited. So yeah, this one's great. And I love the colors. They really pop. Good picks, guys.
I mean, there is something to be said for clean and simple. I don't think this particular poster counts as that, but there are going to be others we talk about. I mean, and frankly, the Batman Returns teaser was clean and simple.
Yeah.
And sometimes that clean and simple can be even better and more striking than everything all in the same poster. And, there's room for both, but I think that, we'll talk about both as we go.
Yeah. I mean, peek into the future here. I really think, honestly, this is probably the busiest poster that I have on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to lean more toward the minimalism or whatever you want to call it than I do the get every possible face and vehicle and everything else that you can on there.
Right. Awesome. Well, look at that. We match for number 9, Jamie. High five.
This is why we're Bat Brothers, sir.
There we go. I love it. You know who also had this on his list? I'll give him a shout out. Jay Yaws.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised if Jay had this at number 1 because this just fits Jay's sensibilities so to a T.
Yeah, I think he's the only other one who had this. Again, because it's the UK poster, so it's a little, lesser known or more obscure, but he had this and I had already picked it for mine. And I was like, all right, Jay, nice. So anyway, that's our number 9. What's your number 9, Preston?
Man, so for a lot of folks, I feel like they may have this one higher, and it's certainly no disrespect to it because I love it, but sentimentally, there was just a few more that went ahead of this. But we're going back to Andy's first pick, if I'm not mistaken, with Batman Returns. While it's not the same poster, we're going with the iconic stacked heads poster with we have Michael Keaton, we have Michelle Pfeiffer, we have Danny DeVito. In that order, of course, we've got the Penguins kind of depicted down at the bottom, obviously, and our beautiful Batman Returns font there. Yeah, this one's awesome. I remember this one so much from when I was a kid. I think everybody looks excellent in it, and it's not too busy, right? I think it's pretty perfect.
This one actually narrowly missed my list. I've always called this, I don't know what the more official term to it is, but I always called it the totem poster.
There you go. Yeah.
I do too, and I wonder if that's because of you, Jamie.
Maybe.
But I call it that too. Yeah, I always call it the Batman Returns totem poster.
Yeah. So, I mean, as Preston said, it's simple. It's got a lot to it, but it's still very simple, very, easy to look at. It's not too busy where you're like zooming in, trying to figure out all the stuff that's on the poster. It's still, even though it's got several things on it, it's still very easy to see. And it's a very classic Batman poster, in my opinion.
And
it narrowly missed my list.
I'll add this super quickly. Like, I feel like we got, and you guys know what I'm talking about, obviously, when we were getting into the 90s, there was that thing where it was just every person's face on the poster, right? Some of that got really boring, but I don't know. I feel like this one is different in that sense. Yeah, I don't know what you think, Andy.
I'm not ready to talk about this poster.
Ooh. Fair enough.
But we're ready to move on to number 8. So, Jamie, what's your number 8?
Well, this will show why Preston and I are Bat brothers. I've got the same Mask of the Phantasm poster picked here.
Hey, there we go.
For all the same reasons. The animation style, of course, we all love that. But that image of Batman with his his cape spread out in the wing fashion and the Phantasm mask above it, again, that's pretty much all you have going on in this. But it's such a good-looking poster, and I love it.
Yeah,
I don't know what else I can say about it other than I think it's great.
I love that. But I have a stupid question.
Yes.
Can I join in on being a Bat Brother with you guys?
You can.
Okay, good. Because my number 8 is also the Batman Mask of the Phantasm poster.
Now, if we don't knock this off, Andy, people are going to figure out that I hacked your account and just put your list.
That's right. He didn't have enough time for show prep. He's like, okay, I just got to copy and paste.
I mean, I switched a couple of them around so I wasn't being too obvious, but right now we're a little too in sync to be coincidental.
Well, let's just say if you check my search history, then you get what you deserve.
I would like to go on record as saying that, having like Mondo posters and some of these really good fan arts out there probably would have eliminated this one in favor of some of those. But since we were trying to stick with the ones that were hanging in a theater lobby, I had to go with this because I did see this in its first run in the theater, and I've always loved the movie and I've always loved this poster. I just think it's very solid, good looking, well done.
I agree with you. And I also agree. I like the 4K artwork they just did for the cover of the re-release. I thought that was beautiful. I really like that. There has been really good Mask of the Phantasm artwork over the years. Like I said, that red artwork that was on the comic, I have a t-shirt of that. But yeah, the theater one sheet of Mask of the Phantasm, I agree with both you guys. I love it. I find it so striking and beautiful. What I love is that it is unmistakably the animated series version of Batman.
True.
But the artwork and just the overall composition is very theatrical. It's very cinematic. So I think it does a really great job of communicating, yes, this is the version you watch at home, but this is bigger. This is different. This is a movie. And that's a tricky balance. And I think that they pull it off great. Like you said, having the Phantasm at the top, the big, cool, moody, cloudy sky behind them both, and then having Batman front and center. It's striking, it's beautiful, it's colorful, but it feels cinematic, which is what they needed to communicate with this poster.
Yeah, they could have put, gone the route of Batman or Batman Returns and just kind of slapped a logo on it and then had a lot of upset parents, leaving the theater. So that's very true. And one thing I think we can all agree is I only wish this poster could have hung in theaters a little bit longer.
I know. Ain't that the truth? I mean, again, it's one
Yeah,
of my great shames as a Batman fan is I didn't see this in theaters
I know.
because it was gone. It was just
Yeah.
so quick. If you didn't go that first weekend, but it's also worth noting that on this poster at the very bottom, it actually says the animated movie.
Mm.
So I think it does a great job of selling what it is, which is it's a Batman movie. It is animated. It's the version at home, but it's bigger, it's different, and you get to meet a new villain. Like all of that in this one striking image is really impressive.
Yep. We saw the same movie and the same poster.
Okay, Preston, what is your number 8? Because I've now jumped ahead of you twice.
All right. Hey, that's all right. Let's get into it. This is maybe a unique pick. We'll see where you guys land on this one. This is one of my IMAX exclusive I guess picks here, because I will say kind of in modern years between IMAX and Dolby Digital, like we get some really good kind of alternate posters that are official posters, obviously put out by the studio. So I'm going to go with another poster that kind of puts it right up front as to what you are getting. And I think it does a great job at that. I'm going with Batman versus Superman. The battle is bigger in IMAX. And I like to call this kind of the standoff poster. We have Batman kind of from the rear, his cape is slightly kind of skewed to the side. Superman facing the camera, kind of hunched over like, let's effing go. Let's do this thing. Our hype for Batman versus Superman, unhinged levels. I think I can speak for all of us in saying that. And I just recall anything. I mean, I can say that for almost all these movies. I mean, I remember scraping just anything I possibly could to get more info on this movie coming out. And hell, that's actually, funnily enough, shortly before BVS is when I found you guys. So thank God for BVS. But yeah, I love this poster. I don't own this poster. I so wish I did. Do you guys like this one?
I really like this one. It didn't make my
Yeah.
list, but it was in consideration because
Nice.
I think it's beautiful. Speaking of a movie that just had so many posters, BVS is one of them. So there's
Yes.
so many to choose from, and it is tricky to pick just one. But I think the IMAX poster is a great choice. I think Batman and Superman look fantastic in it. This one got a little love in the listener vote too, which made me happy.
Oh, good. Okay.
It didn't make the top 10, but it got a little bit of love, and I appreciated that because it was one that I'd almost forgotten until some of the listeners called it out, and I went, oh yeah, that is a good one. So excellent choice.
So
Jamie?
I think that I won't say a lot, but a number of the posters for Batman v Superman, because it felt like there was like 70 of them, were borderline ugly. This is not one of them that I hold that opinion of. I think this is a great poster. This one was never really in contention for my list, but I would probably hang this thing on my wall because it's a good image. The background with kind of the desolate look with the debris coming down from the sky and these two getting ready to say, "You want some? Let's get some." It's a good poster. I think this is probably a more of the upper tier for Batman v Superman of all the choices that were given for it. So yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that is your number 8, Preston. So now we're on to number 7, Jamie.
So now we come to my favorite of the Batman Begins posters. This is, it's simple yet busy kind of at the same time. It kind of has that like fiery look to the background with some skyscrapers with Batman like gliding through the air with the cape spread out in wing formation again with hundreds of bats circling all around. And, there's no tagline or anything like that. Just Batman Begins June 17th with, the credits on it.
I like this one.
I love this one, and I just might be talking about it later.
All right, then.
I'm not ready to talk about this poster.
Silence.
But do you know what I do want to talk about? I want to talk about Batman v Superman.
Oh, I like that.
So, like we said, there are many posters for Batman v Superman. Some I love, some I don't love so much, to Jamie's point. I almost picked what I would call the face-off poster, which is Batman on the left, Superman on the right, and they're staring at each other, and the logo's in red behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was kind of the final poster, and that's the one I have on my wall. I love that one. And then I remembered this one, and I'm like, no, I think this one's got to come first, because the one I chose, it has Wonder Woman in it, because that's what's missing from the Face Off poster. And so what I'm choosing is the poster for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition.
Now, was that a theatrical release though?
I don't know. That's why it's a bit of a gray area. So if you guys are gonna, hold my feet to the fire, I'll say it's the Face Off poster. But I really wanted the poster with all three of them, and this poster was released. I had a version hanging at my desk, because it has the Trinity on it. So if we're not counting Ultimate Edition, I got to go with the Face Off poster. If you guys will allow the Ultimate Edition, it's this one with Wonder Woman dead center, Batman on the left, Superman on the right, the logo behind them, for the Ultimate Edition.
Well, you know something, Andy? Our hero that we share in life is Batman. And Batman has a tendency of bending or breaking rules from time to time. So I think we can let this slide because it's a great poster.
All right.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those where Batman v Superman was a theatrical movie, and this was an officially released marketing poster. But yes, was this one hanging in the lobby? No.
Well, and it's official enough to be the original Blu-ray cover. So, hey, I'm down with it.
All right. Well, that's why I'm kind of like, well, either way. But but I think this is the one that it's my favorite because the Trinity looks so great in this image. I love the three of them. Again, at first I wasn't in love with sort of the red logo motif. But the way it really stands out against everything else, I think it was a really smart call in hindsight, just from a design perspective, is that nothing was red except the logo, which I thought was great. It really made it pop. And so, yeah, I wanted the poster with all three because I love all three versions of these characters. And so the Ultimate Edition is the one I landed on, but with a very strong runner up of again, what I call the Face Off poster that is hanging on my wall right now.
I like this poster.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Love this one.
I have three very good reasons for liking this poster because all three of those characters look fantastic.
Right? They sure do. So that is my number 7. Preston, what is your number 7?
Oh, back to yours truly, huh? Okay. Well, let's do this thing. And this is a pretty iconic poster, like a lot of these. I'm going to go with a movie I haven't talked about yet, and that is Batman Forever. And there's a couple options with Batman Forever. I'm going with I feel like the one that everybody just thinks of when they think of this movie. It was the cover of like the VHS, for instance, the DVD release back in the day. We have all our main characters depicted. Batman, first and foremost, kind of in the background, but the boldest and the biggest, right? And then in kind of descending order, we have Robin, we've got Nicole Kidman, we've got Tommy Lee Jones, and then obviously Jim Carrey kind of at the bottom with our Batman Forever logo, skewed to the right. Now, you guys might have to help me with this. Wasn't this like an original, like literal painting? If I'm not mistaken, like I think this is like a painting.
No.
Okay.
It is photographs. It might have been painted over a little bit, but it is photos because what it is there were individual character posters using all 5 of these images.
Okay.
So yeah, Batman Forever is one that had, I think, at least 7 posters because there was one per character. There was the logo, and then there was this one that was all the characters.
Yes.
But the individual posters were each of these images, and they were photographs. But again, they're very pretty photographs, so I would not have been shocked if they were painted over a little bit to make them look a little more perfect.
And maybe it was one of those things because I know I've seen like some early artwork of this, and maybe it was just one of those things where like the graphic folks were kind of putting together what they wanted as the final draft kind of thing. But yeah, I do like this poster a lot, more than anything, I think sentimentally, right? Like this was going back to 95, like being so young, and this is just kind of burned into my brain, honestly. So had to have some representation for this particular poster.
Nice. Well,
I feel like this is easily the most recognizable poster for that movie.
yeah.
Everybody's seen this poster. If you took all the text off of it and just saw this image for a quarter of a second, you'd be like, Batman Forever. It clicks with you that much. I feel like this poster was everywhere. I still feel like this is everywhere as far as like, cover art for various releases and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it's feelings of the movie aside, I think it's hard to argue against the iconography of this particular poster. Is it my favorite? No. But as far as recognizable, yeah, definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
I think iconic is appropriate because, yeah, especially in 1995, this poster was everywhere. And I think when people think of Batman Forever, I think this is one of the first images that shows up in their brain. And
yeah,
I think Brendan has his bedroom wallpapered in this poster.
He has this poster tattooed on his back.
There we go.
Yeah. And to the point where like the Riddler is right above his butt going, ah!
God.
So this is not on my list, but I will say this. I like this poster enough that I just ordered an 8x10 of it signed by Val Kilmer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he's doing a remote signing situation.
Oh, no.
And there were a lot of options. And I went back and forth really hard of like, okay, do I want like kind of the promo image of him as Batman? Do I want the individual character poster? Do I want this? And I went with this because I'm like, well, it's going on my wall. And of all those images, which one do I want on my wall? And it's this because it is the final Batman Forever poster.
Okay, I am now looking at Val Kilmer autograph pre-orders.
Yeah. I can send you the link. But
That's awesome.
Me and Eric from the Fire Rises TM, we both ordered one. And we had this conversation as I was like, and he's like, I can't decide between the individual character poster or the all-in poster. And I was like, dude, I spent a day having the same debate. I went with the all-in poster because I'm like, well, again, like if I'm going to have one piece of Batman Forever, anything on my wall, it should be this. And he ended up going with just the single character poster, which I can't begrudge him because I'm like, that's a great choice too. So anyway, yeah, the Batman Forever, what I called the final all-in poster.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Awesome. So those are number 7s. We're on to number 6, Jamie.
All right. So my number 6 brings me to my Batman Returns personal favorite. Again, leaning towards simplicity. It's very much invokes the style of the original 89 teaser poster of the logo that's kind of clipped off at the sides, which we're going to have that discussion. I've always wondered why those things had to be clipped off on the sides instead of just fit on the poster.
Right. That's so true.
This one, it's kind of a black and whitish image. It kind of has snow and ice blowing in from the left. Batman Returns at the bottom, June 19th at the bottom. But at the top, this is the first time I feel like this was ever used, the bat, the cat, the penguin, which I've always loved that. It's always just given me the tingles to hear that out loud or to read it or anything else. And I genuinely feel like this poster was the first thing that just used that particular vernacular or whatever we want to call it. And for that, this scores very high on my sentimental list.
It was the first time that was ever in print, the bat, the cat, the penguin. And I am so glad you picked this because it did not make my list, but oh my God, I wanted it to. I love this poster. This is a great poster, but the problem is I was like, oh, I could put every Batman Returns poster on my list, and that would take up most of my list. So I had to pick and choose. But this one, it was a killer to cut it. It's awesome. It's iconic. Like you said, it's a great spin on the classic 89 poster, but saying it's something new, and the snow is beautiful. And then I feel like that slogan, the bat, the cat, the penguin, at least to me, has become so iconic in my brain that when I post Batman Returns stuff to Instagram, I will often tag it with the bat, the cat, the penguin. Because I just can't help it. Mm-hmm. And I talked about seeing that first teaser poster of just the bat head and being so excited. Then I remember a couple months later seeing this poster in the theater and losing my mind all over again because it was just a little more. It gave me just a little more, and it's gorgeous. So I love it. If you want to talk about why it cut off the edges, I remember they talked about that. I want to say it was in the Shadows of the Bat documentaries on the special edition DVDs from '05. They talked about it. They didn't say, oh, this is why, but they said that the result of them having to cut off the sides of the wings is it was like a subconscious thing of being like, this movie is so big, we can't even fit the logo on the poster.
All right,
That's
I'll go with
fun.
that.
And again, I don't know how intentional that was or if that was just a happy little accident, but they definitely brought that up as like just a cool little side effect of the poster, because of if you do shrink it down, it's going to look kind of small on the vertical poster. And so I guess they chose with, no, it's got to be big. And even if that means shaving off the sides, it's just too big. Sorry about it.
Yeah. It always kind of annoyed me, but over the years, I've certainly grown accustomed to it because that's just the images that they gave us. So
Yeah.
those are the ones that are ingrained to me. But in the back of my head, I always just thought to myself, I wish the whole thing would have been there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I get it. Awesome choice. I'm sorry, Preston, is there anything you wanted to say about this one?
No, man, I just feel the exact same way as you guys. I've always loved this one. And kind of like you were saying, Andy, I love how moving from the teaser to this one, we get the full logo, but then it's like, oh my God, obviously we know the Bat's going to be featured, but Catwoman, the Penguin, there was probably so many people that had it, almost breaking news to them of who was going to be featured in this movie via this poster. And I just love that. And it's so simple.
Yeah. Well, and it also very much dovetails with Tim Burton's thesis for the movie is and he talked about it. He's like, he goes, well, I was trying to kind of figure out really what the core of my movie was. And he's like, a bat, a cat, a penguin. It's about animals, right? It's about your human side and your animal side. And so I love that even sort of bleeds over into the marketing of like, we're not talking about people here. We're talking about 3 different animals.
Yeah. This is true.
Awesome. All right. Good choice for number 6. Jamie, what's your number 6, Preston?
Ooh, my number 6. Let's check it out. I got to get over to my list here. Oh, yes. Oh boy, one of our many options from this particular film. You guys ready to talk about The Dark Knight for a second?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about The Dark Knight. So I had 2 Dark Knight posters on my wall for years through high school, college, all that good stuff. One of them I still actually have up, and I'll talk about that later. But I'm going to talk about this classic teaser poster featuring kind of an obscured Heath Ledger a little bit. The classic "Why So Serious" poster with the Joker featured, and of course the lettering is written in blood. I remember seeing this poster thinking it was like fan made initially. I don't know. Not that it's like overly graphic or anything. Obviously, I just thought, it's a Batman poster. I don't know if this is something that the studio would put out. Sure enough, they did, and man, I thought they made a fantastic decision doing so. Obviously, it almost looks like he's behind like some frosted glass of some sort. I really like the color of this one as well. But yeah, this one had to get represented in my top 10 because, I mean, come on, this one's great.
It's another one that I would use the word iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing this everywhere back in 2008, and it's great. I love it as a tease for the Joker.
Yes.
And you see just enough of him, but it's creepy. And when they used it right and they like put it on a door or something, I just love the illusion that it created that like he was back there. It's
absolutely
so cool. So yeah, I called this the Dark Knight frosted glass poster, but yeah, I think this one, it didn't quite make my list. It was probably a runner up, because it's awesome.
Oh, chirps from Jamie.
Awfully quiet over there. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, great. Well, then why don't we just move ahead?
That's right.
While the crickets are chirping. What do you say?
Just move right along.
Moving right along. Okay, so my number 6 is a poster that Jamie already brought up. And that
Hey,
is,
look at that.
Yep, and that is the teaser. Well, no, this is the second teaser poster for The Dark Knight Rises. The first teaser was just the bat logo created by looking up at the skyscrapers. This is the second one. This is the Legend Ends, the one that has the broken cowl in the foreground and Bane in the background. This is another amazing image that tells you everything you need to know about one of the most highly anticipated movies in history. Following up The Dark Knight was no easy trick. And when you saw this, you're like, oh man, he's in for some hurt. That broken cowl was like so dramatic and so cool and also so disconcerting because you're like, oh no, poor Batman. What are you guys gonna do to him? And
Yeah.
and spoilers, they really mess him up. But yeah, this really showed that, like, oh my god, all bets are off for the final one. It's an amazing image that tells you that, to just show you the size and the power of this new villain and Bane. And then that broken mask, which I thought became another just iconic representative image for the entire film, to the point where I believe one of the special edition Blu-rays was the broken mask was part of the set. If I am I remembering that correctly?
Oh
You guys
yes,
remember
yes,
that?
you are.
I
Yes,
feel like
and
it was
that
like
was
the
a
special edition. It came with the
yep.
broken mask. Yeah.
I think it was sold through Best Buy if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good. I'm like, am I making that up? Okay. But yeah. So I just think this is a very cool, but very scary and definitely very dramatic poster. But when I think of The Dark Knight Rises, this is the poster I think of.
That's
I mean, I've
awesome.
said everything I need to say about this poster, but let me just share a brief memory of the hype build up to this movie. And I went and saw a Harry Potter movie in the theater just to see this trailer on a big screen. I would not watch it online or any leaked information or anything else. And Milks had watched it because, you know, he watches everything on the internet. We won't say how or why, but Guy Milks said, "Have you seen the teaser yet?" And I said, "No, I'm going to see the Harry Potter movie on Friday just so I can see it on the big screen." And his response, and this may not be verbatim, but it was something to the effect of, "The bat is in trouble."
Uh-oh.
He wasn't wrong.
No.
So yeah, this poster certainly added to all of that fuel, which is why it made my list.
Yeah. And I also think that, you know, following up the Joker, just like following up the film, was no easy feat. And it's like, well, how do you possibly top the Joker, or even try? Not that you would ever truly top him, but you know what I mean? And this really communicated of like, this is a completely different type of threat to Batman than the Joker was. This is
Yes.
totally different. And we don't, and obviously Batman's not prepared. Look at his mask. So no, I think this got the job done. And you know, I remember when this poster was released and it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, that's number 6. So we're on to number 5, Jamie.
All right. Well, I guess I'll move on to my Batman v Superman choice. I'm sorry, Andy. The Face Off poster.
Man, this one came so close for me.
I mean, again, it's the one I've got on my wall. So this choice is correct.
Simplicity, guys. I mean, the debris in the background, maybe I would have gone without, maybe given it just God, I hate even making this criticism because of all the criticism the movie took. Maybe give the color a little more fill in, you know, but the iconic imagery of those two facing off, live action, big screen, first time ever. No poster gave me more hype, as many good posters as there were for this movie, than what this particular one right here did. It invoked every emotion possible from me, of happiness of seeing the two together, sadness for seeing the two fight, excitement for everything that could happen, would happen, should happen, all culminated with this poster right here. I mean, it was just a big deal for me. And I don't own a ton of movie posters, but if I own one poster from Batman v Superman, that would be the one that I would own.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent
awesome.
choice. Excellent. And I also want to point out, just as you were talking, it made me think of this, is so many of the BVS posters had Batman in the armored suit.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
sure.
do like the armored suit. Like the IMAX poster was in the armored suit. I want to say his individual character poster was also the armored suit.
I think you're right.
When they had the, where it was like each character, but then there was sort of the red logo on top of
Right.
them. It was the armored suit
Yes.
there. But as much as I like that armored suit, the traditional one is even better. And
Oh
so
man.
this to have just those two amazing suits staring at each other, yeah, it's awesome.
I gotta point this out. Obviously, I mean, as always, Henry Cavill looks great, but let's just kind of push him to the side for a moment. So
Who are you, WB?
yeah. Oh, below the belt. Ouch. Henry, I love you. Get over here. I'll give you a hug.
Guy Ritchie
Okay.
still loves you, Henry.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So thinking about Batman in this image. So this image reminds me so much of a shot in the movie. Obviously, it wasn't taken from that. This is separate, but it reminds me of when Superman rips kind of the top of the Batmobile off, and then Batman just kind of does that slow
Mm.
stand.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the chest, like, is just like massive and awesome, and I think this image depicts that. And like you said, Andy, as cool as the armored suit is, man, like nothing beats this traditional suit here. So yeah, this is a great poster.
It is. Can I point something out that might ruin it for you though?
Oh no.
Because someone else ruined it for me. I love this poster, but the reflection on Henry Cavill's head looks like the number 2.
Oh my god.
And someone like, way back when this poster was released, that someone circled it and was like, "Oh, look, they're saying there's going to be another one. It's an Easter egg." And now every time I look at this poster, I see the damn number 2 on his head.
You are correct.
Now, see, without zooming in on it, it looks to me like Batman already put a dent in his forehead. So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But that aside, his poster's awesome.
That's hilarious.
All right, Preston, what is your number 5?
Oh man, my number 5. Okay, we're gonna jump up into some modern stuff, because I am gonna go with what I think of as kind of the true traditional theatrical poster for the Batman. And this is, of course, very red, with a silhouette of Robert Pattinson featured right in the middle. And of course, we get that pretty illuminated bat symbol on the chest as well. Man, I love this poster. And to be honest with you, I think the red is great. And I think it took way too long for that aesthetic to be used, even though, to be fair, we did have some red in Batman and Robin, just to note that.
Well, that whole movie's marketing motif was red.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Now,
it's been a minute.
Are you talking about Batman and Robin?
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Okay,
Like
yes.
the logo was red, and so anything that was just the logo was all very red too. And then the opening credits was very red.
Right.
In the movie.
That's a good point.
That was the Batman and Robin decided red. Like it's funny because each movie kind of picks a color.
Yep.
Right. Like Batman '89 really chose black and gold.
Mhm.
Returns was black and white. Forever was green, unmistakably. Batman and Robin was red, so on and so forth. You can pretty much do it with all of it. But then, yes, the Batman decided to kind of loop back around and really embrace the red, and boy, did they.
Yes, really embrace the red, for better or worse, maybe depending on who you talk to. Really, really love this poster, and I will say, I don't know how the fan turnout is going to be as far as this particular podcast goes, but just kind of browsing around online, like, this kind of seems to be a fan favorite for a lot of folks. I was actually a little surprised, and obviously, hey, it's one of my faves. What are we at, number 5?
Number 5, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, love this poster, love the movie, and all the above. So yeah, giving the Batman some representation here.
All right. I will say that for all the posters for the Batman, this does feel like the poster for that movie.
Yeah.
This really feels like the one that made the greatest impact, and it's probably the image, again, that conjures up in your mind when you think about that movie.
I will also say I noted, and of course I'm not done talking about these, but I noted, the Dolby and the IMAX poster. The Batman had a fantastic Dolby poster, and it is actually still the background of my phone to this day. So check that one out as well.
Oh man, I don't remember.
I'll have to shoot you guys. It's really cool. It's much more traditional.
Oh,
And
okay, interesting.
yeah,
It's
I
cool, but
like that
it's
one a lot.
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's got the bat signal behind him, shooting the kind
correct.
of shafts of light from behind him, and it's a full body shot in profile. Okay, yeah, cool, with the Dolby Digital logo in red.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome.
So I
Well,
don't want to critique this, but I'm here's the thing. I didn't pick anything from the Batman, and I didn't pick anything from Batman and Robin. And it's not because I don't think that the imagery for some of those things is good enough. It's that so much black and red is going on with those two.
Mm-hmm.
And my eyes, and this is not me telling you that I think it's ugly artwork or anything like that. My eyes do not do well with black and red blended together.
Sure.
Just one example. If you ever read comic books with the Batman who laughs in it, almost every one of his dialogue bubbles is a black background with red lettering, and I can't read it. It hurts my eyes to
Mm.
try and read it. So I look at this poster that you picked, Preston, and I think the imagery is terrific. But when I look at it, I almost have to squint because my brain, it doesn't hurt, but it's just like there's something about the black and red together that my brain does not work. And that's not critiquing the movie or the imagery or anything else. It's just I don't do well with black and red together. So that's why I didn't pick anything from either of those two movies, because of all of the black and red that was involved.
Hey, I completely get it. When it comes to colors, yeah, you're talking to a colorblind guy, so this might as well be green to me at the end of the day. But nonetheless, yeah, I completely understand.
If I was going to pick up a poster from the Batman, that would definitely be the one I would pick, though.
Cool.
I agree. Actually, you and I are very close on this, Jamie. Is I didn't pick anything from the Batman or from Batman and Robin, and I think it's because not because red hurts my eyes, but for me, red just doesn't feel like the color of Batman. So for me, Batman and red don't go together. Oh,
Mhm.
hi, are you back?
Oh,
Oh, obligatory cameo time.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, E.T.
Yeah.
We're talking about Batman. Do you want to talk about Batman?
E.T.
Oh, just E.T. Were you watching Bat Wheels earlier? Can you say hi, Uncle Jamie?
Hi to Jamie.
Can you say
Hi,
hi,
Harley.
Preston?
Hi, Betty.
All
Oh,
right.
my
Can you say
word.
hi, listeners?
Hi, little.
Oh, very good. So we've got our Harley cameo for the week, right? Okay, love you. Okay, go with mommy.
Oh, well,
Bye bye.
Bye, Daddy. Say bye, Daddy.
let me unmelt myself from the floor, Jamie.
Kathryn's always like, she's fast, and I didn't realize she was going into your office. It's fine because now the listeners like it.
For the last 2 years, I keep thinking about telling Andy I don't want to do this anymore, but then I think, well, I'll have a chance to maybe get a peek from Harley, so I'll stick around.
Wow. Okay. Do we need to have a talk off mic?
That's right.
I feel like it's something we want to talk about.
You had a kid just so we could stay together.
Yep. Anyway, my point is, for me, Batman and Red, like, not, is not a chocolate and peanut butter situation. So yeah, that's why those two didn't make my list. But to Jamie's point, if I were to pick a poster from the Batman, it is this one, because again, I feel like it's the image for the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are we on? We're my number 5.
I just want to point out real quick, since I'm looking at it now, the Dolby Cinema, like I don't have it zoomed in or enlarged. It's just like sitting in the Messenger.
Uh-huh.
And with the 2Ds, I think it's a Daredevil poster.
You're right.
Yeah, fair
2Ds
enough.
in red, no less.
All right, so my number 5, Jamie, what temperature is it up by you right now?
It's going to be 79 degrees today, sir.
Okay, so it's
Hey.
warm. I was wondering if it was going to be a cold day in hell because of my number 5.
Ooh.
So my
Love
number 5 is the Batman Forever logo poster.
Mm-hmm.
Much like for the 2 teaser posters for Batman Returns, when I saw the Batman Forever logo poster for the first time, I believe it was at the WB store, was the first time I ever saw this poster. I just stared at it because I thought it was beautiful and I was so excited about the movie. And even now, so many years later, even though we all know it's not my favorite movie, I think this is just a great design. It's a great logo. It's one of those, like we were talking about earlier, where less is more. There's something about the minimalist nature of it that really works. But yeah, it's the bat logo surrounded by the question mark and then just the date, June 16th. That is just all you need. You're like, okay, Batman is back, and there's a big, huge question mark. I guess we're going to finally see the Riddler, and we've got the date. You don't even need words of the title. It's just the logo. I think it's a wonderfully designed logo, and I would happily hang this on my wall. I love it.
Well, I'm thinking if Brendan had wallpaper of the poster we talked about earlier, he has like a thong in the shape of this thing. I think that is safe to say. No, this is great. I love this symbol, man. The bat logo in the really cool, question mark, and I could just see this getting fans so hype, and you don't even need to see a character.
Yeah, it did the trick, and that's why to this day, they are not a sponsor, but I think it's Rock'em Socks did socks with this logo on it. I bought them.
Fun.
The WB store online has a T-shirt with this logo. I bought it, and then on the back it just says Batman Forever, and now what is the classic Batman Forever font, because I still love this logo, so I'm still buying merch of this.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I have some things to say about this poster, but not for a minute.
Oh, all right then. Well, great. Let's move on to number 4 then. Jamie, what do you want to talk about for number 4?
We're going to talk about my choice for Justice League.
Hey!
Because I would love to have a copy of this poster hanging on my wall, and I've just never bought it. But simple. All the characters, save for one major one,
love this one.
It's Alex Ross is pretty much what it is, as far as I can tell. And it says, "You can't save the world alone." All in JL 1117. But the thing that I love the most is the way they incorporated the logos into the words. So the O in U is the Flash logo, and the C in Can't is the Cyborg logo, and the S in Save is the Superman logo, and the E in The is the Batman logo, and the W in World is the Wonder Woman logo, and the A in Alone is the Aquaman logo. That is freaking spectacular. I love it.
I just don't know why they used the Superman logo, because he's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not in this.
That was weird.
And frankly, there have been versions where people have kind of modded it up here and there to get Superman in.
Well, they released a version. I don't think it was of this exact poster, but it was of these shots of the characters with Superman.
Yeah.
After the movie came out, so there are shots of this style with Superman included, which I agree with you is gorgeous.
Like, even though I do like the face images and the art and what have you going on with the background of the poster, if you just gave me a poster that was black with the white text with those logos mixed into it, I'd be just as content with that, because that's why I picked the poster more than anything.
I like that. That's great. Very cool. I like this one. I was a little unexpected, but in a fun way, because you're right. I like this poster, and I think I have a t-shirt of this image too. Hot topic. I was real excited for this movie.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Preston, anything to add on this one?
I love this one. I'm shocked that I kind of overlooked this, because I feel like there should be a place for this in my top 10, man. Like you said, the Alex Ross inspiration is undoubted, and everybody looks awesome. Yeah, it's wild that this thing came out with absolutely no controversy and was accepted by all, and storybook ending.
Yeah,
well, that poster certainly did. It was what came after that.
Yeah, the poster that certainly was met with acclaim. That's for sure.
I think this was the T-shirt that I have and that also Brendan has, where he said after the movie came out, he didn't wear it, and then
Yeah,
after Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, then he wore it again.
that's right. Wear it proudly.
I still wore mine. I don't care. Whatever. All right. The Justice League You Can't Save the World Alone poster for your number 4, Jamie.
Also, I'd like to give a shout out that somebody somewhere at some point did a Photoshop version of this, and it was just Batman, and it said, "I can save the world alone."
Oh, nice.
I thought that was hysterical. I would have picked that one, but you said only official, so I didn't.
That's fun. Awesome. Preston, what's your number 4?
Number 4. Let's go.
Oh, wow.
Oh?
Huh. Forgot about this one. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't even know if I've ever seen that.
So, this is a very specific choice, and I do not consider this a cheat, to be fair.
Okay.
But it was an exclusive poster. And we're going to go back to IMAX once again, big IMAX whore over here. So this poster was put out by the studio, and it was actually given out like opening weekend at IMAX theaters to obviously people that were going to see it. So
You didn't
this
give one to me, and that's where I saw it, bastard.
man, oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. I remember taking a few. I was that guy. I was like,
That's why I didn't get any, because you took them all. I see how it is.
Sorry. So
I don't think you've said the movie yet.
well, it's The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
It's The Dark Knight Rises.
All right, good. Great.
And I guess the best explanation I can give of this, it's a really gritty looking poster, all right? It's black and white. We've got Bane's face just taking up the whole frame here. And we have a really cool, I don't know if I'd call it an Easter egg, but there is a bat logo kind of hidden on here, kind of right between his eyes, in between the opening of the mask. And, you know, obviously at the bottom we get The Dark Knight Rises, and below we have IMAX. And this was like a midnight release thing. So it says 1201, 720, 12, which I'm like, my God, The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. That is absolutely insane to me. But I love this poster. Obviously, I mentioned that I took a few of them. It's very sentimental to me. I've had it on my wall for years and years. And I don't know. I don't know what it is about this one. It's just a striking image to me.
Mhm.
And kind of like what you said, Andy, I think just like, you know, other than The Dark Knight, and obviously there's been some come after it that I've been super hyped for as well, but just the hype for this movie was really unspeakable. I mean, for me and you guys, I know we're in the same boat. And yeah, I don't know. I just look back on this with such fondness, and I just love this image.
We were so hyped for this movie, Jamie and me and some other folks, that in the real fans group, we had a few folks, some friends, who were like, I am so Batmaned out. I can't wait for this movie to come out so you guys can shut up.
I could see that.
And 8 years later, we still haven't.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, this one I only have the vaguest recollection of, but that explains it, is that it was something that was given away at the midnight premiere. I didn't get this one either. If you have extra copies, I don't want one, I'm fine, but you can send one to Jamie. I think he'd
There
want
you
one.
go.
What I got, because I did the trilogy midnight thing where it was all three. So what I got was one poster that had all three posters as part of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was a very horizontal poster. So it was like a Batman Begins poster, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises at the end. So all three are kind of connected in one poster. And then I want to say it does say like AMC Dark Knight trilogy, and it had the date and everything. So that's what I got for free, and I've got that wrapped up because it's a weird size. It's not convenient to put on the wall. But yeah, this is a fun and unexpected choice, Preston.
Yeah.
So I two things here. Number one, I like my local IMAX even less because, first of all, we're not a real IMAX. It was one of the up-converted standard theaters. So it's not really a full IMAX. They can't get the sound adjusted. They have the bass cranked up way too high on it. But now I'm convinced that they kept all these posters for themselves, the employees, and that's why I've never seen this.
Sold them on eBay.
And this next thing I'm going to say, it's not a critique, but like the first thing I see when I look at that is like a new Saw movie.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how the Saw posters looked. You know, they were sans most color, and they were kind of grainy, and somebody always had some weird contraption fixed to their face
This
or
is
body
true.
somewhere. So, that's kind of what it invokes for me. But I still think it's a great poster, especially the bat logo being over the eyes like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to share my number 4. And my number 4 was one of the hardest decisions I had to make because it is for The Dark Knight. But as we said, The Dark Knight had so many great posters. And if we were to give a crown for just one movie that had the greatest collection of posters, I think I'd have to give it to The Dark Knight. Because there were tons and they were all fantastic.
Yeah, that's just it. Unlike some of the Batman v Superman ones or Justice League or any of those other ones, I don't think there was legitimately a bad poster for The Dark Knight.
I don't think so either. I think I think they kind of, because even Dark Knight Rises, there were some that I really loved, but all the final ones of like Everyone in the Black Rain, I wasn't super into those. So like, yeah, like a lot of the other ones are kind of hit and miss, but The Dark Knight was just firing on all cylinders. Every poster was great, but much like what you said, Jamie, is like, I didn't want to just fill the list of Dark Knight posters. So I just made myself pick one. And this is the one I decided to go with, because I think it's beautiful. And it's the one of the Joker, but his back is facing us and he is looking down the street of Gotham City, holding a card in one hand, holding a knife in the other. And I just think it's beautiful. That purple
freaking kiss.
Yeah, that purple just pops so nice. This one you don't see his face, but I love that you don't need to. You've got a Joker card, you've got the green hair, but you've got this beautiful purple color popping against the grays and the blues of Gotham. I love this one, and it's another one I feel like I don't see as much anymore because of the Frosted Glass poster. And no tea, no shade, I can't even argue against that. But there's something about this one that just really works for me, and I think it's awesome. But yeah, it's got the Dark Knight title up top. It just says coming soon on the bottom. But I mean, the Dark Knight was all about getting this version of the Joker, and a lot of the posters really celebrated that. And I thought that this was a perfect balance between tease and like going, oh, he's here and you're not ready.
I adore this poster. Because of the same reasons, I didn't want to pick multiples from the same movie. This one did not make my list, and there's one more from this movie that I like better, but not by a lot. This thing is great. It is so, easy on my eyes. It's just, I don't even have the words that I can use for it. But everything that you said, Andy, the way the colors just bounce off of each other with it, it's not like super bright or anything like that, but like the purple especially just jumps out at you with the image. The knife kind of hidden back behind his little hip there, and the card being across his body, and kind of that hunched down and ready position, like he knows the Batman is coming down the street at that moment. I love every single thing about this poster. There's not a thing I would change about it, except I would own it.
Right. There's something so theatrical to me about this poster. Yeah. That's just one of the first kind of things that stand out to me. And yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. This is just a classic Dark Knight image right here.
Good. Well, I'm glad you guys see eye to eye.
Of course.
All right, on to number 3, Jamie.
So my number 3 is my choice from Batman Forever. Look familiar to anybody?
Hey, I've seen that before. I've seen that on my socks.
So yeah, everything that was said about it just a moment ago when Andy made it for his choice, the bat logo with the question mark around it, black background, a little bit of like bluish and a lot of green to it. This is one of my favorite Batman movie logos ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's iconic. It's great looking. I would gladly have this poster there, or, I don't own anything with this on it, surprisingly, but I would gladly have the poster or a t-shirt, any number of things with this on it. Even like a phone background, I think would be pretty cool for this.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this hanging up in a theater lobby, and I thought to myself, that is a really cool logo. Somebody was really clever in that. But my God, it's clever, even the right word, because it's so simplistic, but it's so bloody effective. And that's what I love about the things that are simple yet they just hit you in the right spot. And to me, that's more genius than Photoshop splash graphic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
This is one of those examples, and there have been a couple of where simplicity can be perfect, and this is that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we already discussed it, but number 3, Jamie, that's good.
Yeah,
I think you need a new pair of socks, is what I think.
Yeah, maybe so.
They're real
Probably
nice.
don't make
I'm
any
a big
socks.
fan. They're not telling me to say that, but I really do like them. The problem with them is they have socks of like every version of Batman, starting with like 89 all the way through the Batman and everything in between. And I bought almost, well, I didn't buy all of them, but I bought like one from each. And yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
the good news, Andy, is you have to wear a different pair of socks every day.
See, exactly. Like you can't have too many. You see those memes make the rounds on Christmas where it's like holes in socks, and it's like, don't worry, man, Christmas is coming. And I'm like, I don't have this problem because fortunately now they make so much geeky socks and geeky underwear for that matter that I'm like, no, I'm always good. I don't need to wait for my wife to buy me socks and underwear. I can do it myself. All right, cool. Great choice for number 3, Jamie. Preston, what's your number 3?
Let's go back to the Dark Knight, gentlemen. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the teaser poster for The Dark Knight. And, again, there's 20 of these posters. This is what I think of as the teaser poster. Whether that's accurate or not, I'm not here to debate, but I will explain it. We have a brick wall, all right? And we have the bat symbol seemingly in blood. I'll call it blood. It could be paint. I think it's blood. In red. And then we have 2 kind of black circled eyes above it, obviously, kind of calling out the Joker there. And at the top, why so serious? So, not to rehash literally what I was just talking about, but we were talking about our excitement for The Dark Knight Rises and how it was nearly unmatched, right? Well, before there was that excitement, there was the excitement for The Dark Knight, of course. And I remember seeing this poster. I remember immediately going, how the hell can I get that poster? And I didn't even have an eBay account at the time. I think I used one of my parents' eBay accounts. Literally ordered this thing, double-sided, 27 by 40, like a legit theatrical, version. And I still have it literally right behind me. I'm looking at it right now on my wall today. The only stupid thing I did as a teenager was, of course, I hung it up with tacks because, why wouldn't you when you're a stupid, 14, 15-year-old? Now, I have it framed as it should be and all the above. So this poster, man, is just absolutely so sentimental to me. I adore it. And you talk about simplistic, right? I mean, like so many of these posters we've talked about tonight, like it doesn't feature a character, but it just tells you everything you need. And it's just fantastic artwork.
Awesome choice. I love this one. And you're right. I remember seeing this for the first time and being, that excitement comes right back. I got to tell you guys, go digging through all these posters, from the Batman all the way back to 1966 and everything in between, plus watching Icons on Earth. I'm like, I feel like I want to do a full Batman movie rewatch and and I want to rewatch them all, because this just gets me hyped all over again. And seeing stuff like that, it just takes you back to that moment in time. How cool.
So the one thing I've always wondered about this poster, and I think it's cool. I think it's great. It would be in my top 5 for The Dark Knight. But I've always wondered since the first time I saw it, why somebody made 2 poorly drawn boobies above the bat symbol.
Well, practice makes perfect. I hope they get better.
But again, we all seem to be appreciating the simplistic nature of some of these posters. And yes, very simple, not too busy, not a lot going on, but enough to just start raising that hype. It kind of builds down in your gut and raising up. It's like, oh, wow, what are we going to get with this? And,
yes.
This definitely invokes those feelings from me.
Awesome. So yeah, The Dark Knight, I called it the graffiti teaser.
Hey, there you
It's
go.
fair.
Yeah.
Um,
Very, very fair.
well, creating the spreadsheet, I had to give everything a name, so I got to be a little creative. But yeah, this one is very cool, and like you said, just yeah, takes you back.
Oh, and considering it made the spreadsheet, I'm glad to see that it got some other
It
votes.
did. It got some
Good,
votes. It's
good.
on the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, for my number 3, we're going to go back a little further than The Dark Knight and see where the Nolan verse began with Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So a lot of great posters for Batman Begins, but I had to go with this one. It is
Hey,
the
that looks familiar.
yeah, it is the Batman falling with his wings spread out. So you're looking up at him. So there he is surrounded by skyscrapers and swarms of bats, but it's got that full cape extension that just looks so damn cool. And it says Batman Begins June 17th. We talked about how so many Batman movies for their marketing, they choose a color, and the Nolan verse was no different. So Batman Begins went full on sepia, The Dark Knight went blue, and then Dark Knight Rises went back to black and white. So all of the Begins posters had this same sepia tone, but this one I just think is gorgeous. The wing spread, the bats surrounding him. It's an awesome, badass image of Batman, and a lot of great images, but this is the one that always, that always sticks out in my mind as the poster for Begins. So that's why it's my number 3, and it's the one I had to go with for Begins.
Now, Jamie, I know you've already talked about this one, and please forgive me, but I feel like I should probably step in here because this is my number 2.
Hey,
Yeah, buddy.
keep it going.
Same page. Yeah, the wingspan poster, if you will. What an iconic shot. And I mean, when I think of like Batman nostalgia and memories and sentimentality, which I've been talking about a lot today, like this, other than my top spot, which we'll talk about here in a bit, and I feel like we all may be sharing the same top spot, possibly. We'll see. This is the only thing below it, right? This is literally number 2 for me. Love this poster. Actually, fun fact. So going way back to like dial-up internet, this was before I knew anything about online fandom. I didn't know of message boards. I
What a
didn't.
happier, simpler time.
You're telling me, man. And this was, and I mean, you're talking about a Southern boy here that I was lucky to get a Wizard magazine every now and then. Like I was probably 12ish, something like that. All I knew was to go to batmanbegins.com on a daily basis and see if there were any updates on there, which is hilarious in hindsight. But I remember it was obviously a Warner Brothers, hosted site, and they would have, artwork that you could download. And it probably took me 45 minutes to download one image. But I remember
The
having
dial-up days.
unbelievable.
My God, things I don't miss. I'm not nostalgic
Oh,
for is being like, I want to watch
God.
this trailer. Hit download, and I'll come back in 8 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're exactly right.
I just had that discussion with somebody the other day because we were talking about how the internet has evolved just in the 25 years or so that it's barely been popular. And we got it really early on because my mom worked for the phone company, so we always got like the new stuff like right away. And what was it? Late 96, I think it would have been, where they were starting to hype up the re-release of the Star Wars movies. And I downloaded the trailer for the re-release of the 3 original Star Wars movies, and it literally took something like 9.5 hours. Like I left for work. I hit the button. I left for work. I came back from work, and it was still not quite done downloading. It was madness.
Yeah, I did not get fast internet until like literally like 2008 or 9. So yeah, like that's a thing. But what I was getting at is this was my desktop wallpaper for my like massive TRC essential, computer monitor for years and years. And this image is just, I just love it so much, and this poster is amazing. So yeah, that's my number 2. Not to butt in there, but yeah, I'm with you, Andy.
So this is one that made all 3 lists, right?
Yes,
That's right.
Yeah, love that. All right, Jamie, what's your number 2?
So I have the feeling this one's going to make all three lists as well. And guys, I'm sorry to throw a wrench in because I know what's going to happen here, but I have to be true and honest to myself. But the Batman '89 teaser poster, the gold logo with the clipped off wings on the side, with simply the date of June 23rd at the bottom.
Yeah, buddy.
That is, you talk about iconography that you could not go anywhere without seeing for almost a year. Like, this wasn't my thing that told me that the Batman movie was coming. Like, I think my mother said, "Hey, did you know they're making a new Batman movie?" And I was like in the back of the car going, "What?" But, I still remember seeing this poster like every time I went to the theater for months and months before it came out. And I was, we've talked about Batmania ad nauseum on this show over the years. This is pretty much where Batmania launched from, as this image and this poster.
Man. Oh,
and we're going to hear crickets because
yeah,
I'm sure this is going to be a minute before these two guys are ready to talk about this.
Andy's apparently disconnected from the call. Okay.
Meh. I have nothing to say just because who cares?
That's right.
I'm sure that's why.
It's mid.
Yeah,
right? There we go.
As the kids say, it's mid. It's got L Riz. All right. Wait, I got to do my number 2, right? And then we're wrapping up. Okay, my number 2 is another one that's going to look a little bit familiar to y'all. It's the only one that, it's the only movie that got 2 spots on my list, because the first one was the Batman Returns teaser, which was sort of a special circumstance, but I had to go with what was one of the Batman Returns final posters that we then called the Batman Returns Totem poster, with, again, the 3 faces right down the center, Batman on top, Catwoman in the center, and then Penguin at the bottom, the title right underneath them, and then little Penguin Commandos hanging out at the bottom with all the credits. So this is one I have on my wall. I'm staring at it right now. It's right behind my monitor. It is one of my favorite movie posters of all time. I love this movie. And like you guys said when you talked about it earlier, did this one make all 3 of our lists, or was it an honorable mention?
This one narrowly missed my list.
That's what it was. Okay, so it was
because
on
the
Preston.
Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin is the one that made my list for returns.
Great. Okay.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, this one, I absolutely love this poster. I loved it in theaters back in 1992, and it is one that I was like, no, that one has to be on my wall. It's also one of Kathrynn's favorites because she also loves this movie. And so, yeah, when I think of like the Batman Returns poster, this is the poster I think of. And much like Batman Forever, I got a pair of socks with this image on it because that's how much I love it. So it is a great, it's one of those that it has the 3 main cast members. It has other stuff too, but the composition and the balance is so perfect that it never feels overwhelming. It never feels like they've tried to shove too much on. It's just right, like Baby Bear's porridge.
I love how it's an image with her with her claws up by her face. I mean, it's just such a... I mean, all the images look great, but I think hers is really the cake stealer there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks a little chilly, like for the winter setting. I love that too. So yeah, the Batman Returns Totem 3-face poster, I just think is also iconic, up there with the very best of them. That's my number 2.
There we go.
So I want to save Jamie's number 1 for last because I'm curious.
Yeah, I think you and I are going to be on the same page, Andy. I think
you and I might feel the same.
I almost switched mine around just for the syntax of it, guys, but I had to be honest about it. There's one that I like better than that one.
Okay.
I have a guess as to the movie. I just don't know which direction he'll go.
Oh, you'll kick yourself when I drop it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It's the Batman and Robin villains poster with Mr.
Damn it, Andy! Spoiler alert.
I know it. Well, let me tell you guys a little secret. I like that poster.
Hell yeah.
I do. I think it's fun. Anyway, so I guess, we'll do the non-surprises first. Preston, your number 1 Batman movie poster.
I mean, come on. We just talked about it. It's Batman 89. I mean, and I don't even have to describe it. You know what I'm talking about. And that's kind of the whole point, right? Andy, please just help me here. It's one of those things. I don't even know what to say about this poster because it is simply one of the most iconic images in film. In fiction, like this thing just took over. So please,
yes, this is my number one too. The Batman '89 gold oval poster. I guess there were two versions. I didn't think about that. There's the version that Jamie talked about that is literally just the logo and the date, June 23rd, which I think is brilliant. And then there was the final version that was also the logo, but it had the title and it had the big credits block at the bottom.
Okay.
That's the version I have on my wall. It also says Nicholson Keaton on top, but
yes, I actually had that one. It wasn't an original theatrical. It was a reprint that I bought at probably like Spencer Gifts or something. That's the one I had on my wall as a kid as well.
Yep. So that one is on my wall in my office as well. So, this, and you were getting at that, Preston, this is not just the most iconic Batman movie poster of all time. This is one of the most iconic movie posters of all time.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the most iconic movie images of all time. This is not just a Batman movie poster. This image is a part of movie history. It transcends the Batman franchise. It transcends that movie. It is an iconic image of movies. And that's why it's got to be number one. And like we talked about, it's the simplicity. It is the Bat logo looking as cool as you've never seen before, right? It's in that gold and it's shiny and it's lustrous and it grabs your eye and it's too big to even fit into the rectangle. And it tells you everything you need to know. It's Batman, but it's Batman for now being 1989. But this was not your dad's Batman. This is not the campy Batman. This is a shiny and exciting and expensive Batman like you've never seen before, and you get it just from the logo. I love the teaser poster that Jamie shared of just the logo and the date because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Of like, all you need to know is Batman and June 23rd. That's all you need. And then, of course, they do the one with the credits, and that's cool, too. But, yeah, this image is just, it's historic. It's iconic. It doesn't get more iconic than that.
And guys,
go ahead,
I would
Jamie. Not contest this one bit of every single thing that you said, but this is my favorites list. If we would have gone for what I think is the most iconic, recognizable, what have you, I definitely would have put this number one. But since it's my favorites list, I just narrowly missed it.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Absolutely. My question to you guys, and obviously I could look this up, but was this released like summer of '88? Do we think?
Oh, when was the poster released?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know because I was so little. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
I feel like the hype for this movie, the real buildup was about 9 months before its release. So probably late summer, early fall is when this would hit theater lobbies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's about the same time that the trailer premiered on like Entertainment Tonight or one of those places. And then from then on, you could not set foot in a theater without seeing that trailer before them. The no music starts off with the fire shooting out of the back of the Batmobile engine. You could not set foot in a movie theater to watch a movie without that trailer playing. I don't care what you were watching. And I was fine with it every single time.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw the Batman Returns poster. I remember the first time I saw the Batman Forever poster and so on and so forth. But this one, I do not remember the first time because, the first time I saw anything from Batman was a TV spot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like not that far away because I was 10. So I wasn't paying as much attention. So that's interesting to hear. Yeah. I would assume this was in theaters for months and months, maybe even almost a year in advance. But yeah, this image, this poster, it is, it's historic and rightfully so. And again, that's why they dedicated time to it during that documentary of being like, let's just talk about the poster and what a brilliant piece of marketing that was. And it was. It's so brilliant. It's so iconic. It makes an appearance in Jason Takes Manhattan. Guys, what more do you want? What do you want?
Oh, man.
I mean,
So-
that is how you know a movie's made it, I guess.
Damn right. So our number one's Batman from 1989 and Jamie's number two, which does make me I just realized which one Jamie hadn't talked about yet.
So, I mean, for anybody who hasn't been following along,
I just put it together.
not only is this my favorite Batman poster from my favorite Batman movie, not only is this my favorite poster from my favorite movie of all time, but this is altogether one of my favorite movie posters of any of all time. The Frosted Glass Why So Serious Joker poster.
Hey, there we go.
I love every single thing about this poster. The coloring, the hazy image of the face, the blood trickling down from the letters, forming the smile on the glass with him behind it, or however you want to see that as the perspective there. His hands are kind of like, giving the gestures. Those gestures are so iconic that he gives during that performance, during that movie, which I didn't even know about coming into it. But it just, I'm ashamed to say that even though this is one of my favorite movie posters and my favorite Dark Knight poster and my favorite Batman poster, I don't own a copy of this poster. But
hello, Christmas.
When I get my basement finished, which everything's under construction right now, that's going to get rectified, and that'll go probably right here on my big space on the wall to the right. So, what can I say about this that hasn't been said? I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. So simple, so effective, and just what are we going to get from this movie is kind of what invokes here, because it's creepy. I mean, it's intentionally creepy. And the Why So Serious, I feel like this was really the first time that I saw the Why So Serious catchphrase that was so synonymous with this movie's marketing leading up to its release. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the big sentimental place for me. Just everything about this is that the actual image that you based that off?
Yeah,
that is. Yes, I knew, because when peek behind the curtain here, we're kind of sending these posters back and forth in our group chat so we know what we're talking about. And so when I was talking about this poster earlier and kind of really looking at it, I remembered these promotional, photo shoots that they did between, Heath Ledger's Joker and the Batman and all that. And so one of those images, they eventually kind of tweaked and photoshopped a little bit to get to this poster. So that's the original photo of Heath Ledger that ultimately came that frosted glass look.
I'm not sure I ever knew that, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I love that.
So
you ever want a good laugh? Check out some of these promo shots of Christian Bale's Batman.
Yes.
Oh my God, they're so funny because after a certain point, they're like, do something different, do something different, do something different. And you run out of poses after like 6. And then the poor guy is like, he's got one where he's like, it's like he's trying to do like a Professor X telepathic thing. And there's one where he's just like reaching his hands out to the camera. And it's so funny. Sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I think I've said everything I need to say. I mean, this is, I don't know where I'd rank it with my favorite movie posters of all time, but it's definitely top 10, but maybe even top 5.
I'm not mad about this being your number one because it's an amazing choice. It's an amazing poster, and it seems right. So I love it.
I was hoping, and I knew it was probably not going to come to fruition, that nobody but me was going to pick it. But yeah, there were so many good ones for The Dark Knight, and that one to me is head and shoulders above all else. And I think the next closest one behind us, the one you picked, Andy, with the back shot of the Joker walking down the street.
Yeah.
It was a tough call between them. So I'm glad they're both on the list. That makes me happy.
I just think of, a couple of those I think of is Batman, in the skyscraper. I think of the one where he's on the bat pod.
Yes, the one on the bat pod where he's launching out of the building. Oh, I love that one.
I feel like I saw that poster like in theaters and stuff more than I saw any other.
Yeah.
I remember that one being like on the side of a building in Hollywood.
Oh,
yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, and then there's like the final, or what I would consider the final, which is of Batman standing with, the skyscraper behind him and the big flaming bat signal like burning into the skyscraper, and that's the one that says "Welcome to a World Without Rules." That's the one I have on my wall. Because it's like the final Dark Knight poster, but there were so many good ones. You can't pick a bad one. Awesome. Well, fun choices, guys. I really enjoyed this. This was a blast.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. Do you want to know what the listeners thought?
Yes.
Well, great, because they did share some thoughts. Again, big thank you to everybody who shared their top 10. I love it. For those of you who did the homework and you committed, my cowl's off to you. I appreciate it. And I honestly, it wasn't that hard. People were like, "Oh my God, you bit off more than you can chew. It's gonna be hard to sort through them." Not really. It really wasn't. Do you know why? It's because
Andy loves doing this stuff.
I mean, I do. But everyone had like a wild card in their list, and I love that. I love seeing some of those wild cards. Like Joe Fornerado from The Fire Rises, he put the one of Selena Kyle's heel breaking a batarang for Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one.
Like I love that one. But he was the only one who had it on his list, but I'm glad it was there somewhere because that's a great one, and a lot of people forget about it. But for everyone's wild cards, it's like, guess what? Those are going to be in the top 10, so it's easy to not track the wild cards. And then, as always, there you see patterns of ones that are on almost everyone's lists. So the top 10 rises to the top pretty quickly. So here we go. Number 10, listener vote. It's the Batman Returns snowy bat symbol, the one that Jamie had on his list.
Nice. Oh, the Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin.
Yeah, the Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin with the symbol and the snow blowing. So it made me happy, actually, that made the top 10. Number 9, it is the Dark Knight Rises broken cowl poster.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which was on 2 of our lists, right? I don't think it made yours, Preston?
Correct. Yeah. I went with kind of that standard Bane
That's
IMAX poster, but yes.
The IMAX. See, that was your wild card. So yeah, the Dark Knight Rises, broken cowl, Bane in the distance, that one, pretty iconic. That's number 9.
I have a super quick note, very quickly.
Sure.
The Dark Knight Rises actually has one of my least favorite theatrically released posters in the entire series. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, one of the very early posters where it is clearly the shot from, at least if I'm not mistaken, The Dark Knight when Batman's standing on top of the car. Mm-hmm. And then you have a fire will rise at the top, and then just in the background, the bat symbol with the buildings all collapsing. Like, that looked like the most fan-made Photoshop thing ever. And I remember being so disappointed when I saw that was like one of the main theatrical posters, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's just my personal taste.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, actually, it turns out number 8 and 9 are a tie. So tied with the broken cowl poster from The Dark Knight Rises is the Batman Forever logo poster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those two share 8 and 9. Number 7 is a poster that we just talked about, but didn't make any of our lists. And that is that final Dark Knight poster with the flaming bat symbol on the skyscraper behind Batman.
Yeah.
That's number 7. Oh, guess what? 5, 6, and 7 are all a tie too. So, wow. So number 6, which again was tied with the final Dark Knight, it is the Batman Returns totem poster.
Mm-hmm.
And tied with that is the Batman Forever final all in the entire cast poster.
Nice.
So yeah, Batman Forever final, Batman Returns totem, and the Dark Knight final, all of those tied for 5, 6, and 7.
Wow.
All right.
Number 4 is Jamie's favorite, The Dark Knight, the Joker with the frosted glass.
Hey, she made the top 5. I ain't even mad.
And she was the highest rated Dark Knight poster.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm keeping good company out there then.
Yep. Number 3, Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, whoa. Wow.
And I think that was on all of our lists too.
Man, yeah, that's true. That's a lot higher than I would have anticipated, but I ain't mad at it. That's awesome.
It's great. Number 2, the Batman Begins Wings Out poster, which also
Same
was
for
on
me.
all our lists. And again, I think that for Batman Begins, that's the poster. And I also want to say it was the cover of the soundtrack. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
Mm.
Yes.
I think it was. So yeah, number 2, Batman
No, it's
Begins,
something
Wings
very
Out.
similar.
And then finally, number
Number
one,
one, a Batarang.
number 1 with a bullet, not even close, Batman 1989, the golden logo.
There we go.
I'd have been stunned if it was anything else.
Yeah, odds-on favorite.
Yeah, but honestly, that's a really great top 10. I love all of those posters. I think that's amazing.
I think for all the times that we've ever done these rankings things and getting the listeners involved, this might be the most overlap between us and them that I've ever remember coming across, unless there's just that number one that everybody's gonna say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get a lot of overlap there, but like from top to bottom, we had a ton of overlap here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a heads up, because you had it on your list, Preston, is the red silhouette rain from the Batman. That was number 11. It just missed the top 10.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, good. Glad to hear it got some votes then.
The number 12, just again, FYI, was the Batman v Superman poster. It was like the Batman poster with the face torn out with then the Superman symbol. Remember that one?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was number 12. So that was the highest rated BVS poster. The highest rated the Batman poster was again the silhouette and the red rain. And those were 11 and 12. But
there are so many. I think there's more posters for BVS than there is anything else. Even the Dark Knight.
That would be interesting to dig into and find out, because I have no idea. There are a ton.
It got to a point where I literally didn't know what was an official release and what was a fan made release, because there were so many of them out.
Yeah, that's fair. And just since I'm going by movies, the highest rated for Batman and Robin was just the logo, the red with the Batman Robin logo. That was number 16. So a few people did have that one on their list.
If they would have had, and I get that they have theming with the colors and all that, I would have chosen that one probably, up around 9 or 10 for my list, except for my eyes don't work with black and red very well.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, it's always fun to see what the listeners vote. And I always feel like once the votes get tallied and everything evens out, I always feel like the final list feels pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with this. So very cool Batman movie posters. This was a blast, and I loved a lot of our choices, and I love all the listener choices. But the conversation went a little longer than expected.
Right? Yeah, true.
Yeah, it did. I didn't know how long this would take, but it took a minute. But again, it was really fun. I regret nothing. I mentioned at the beginning, though, on Friday night, Kathrynn and I went out on a little date night, and we did a Batman escape room here at Escapology in Orlando. Technically, it's Kissimmee, but either way, the greater Orlando area. How about that? And so I want to share with you all a little bit about our experience at the Batman escape room, which was actually called the Dark Knight Challenge. So here you go. I'm here with the cutest co-host in the world. Wow.
I wasn't expecting you to just barrel out the gate with that.
It's the same way I introduced Brendan, so
I was like, it should be Harley, or at least the cutest one.
She is the cutest. I tell you, her cameos recently have been big hits.
Yeah, well, she runs real fast away from me.
She does. It's Kathrynn DeGenova.
That's me.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to Holy BatCast.
Thank you.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
What did we do tonight?
We went to a Batman escape room.
I know we went on a Batman date.
Yes, we went back. What was it called? The Dark Knight Challenge.
Yes, and what did you just say before I hit record? Like, I'm glad that every time we go on a Batman date, we have to record a podcast about it.
You make it sound like I said it so sarcastically.
No, it was nicer, but it was funny. Okay, it was like, I like whenever we do a Batman date, we record a podcast about it.
That's exactly how I said it.
So yeah, we had a date night.
Yep.
And we went to a Batman escape room.
Yep.
here in Orlando, Florida.
Technically Kissimmee.
It is. It's Escapeology.
Yes.
Kissimmee? Kissimmee, as part of the Margaritaville
Sunset
Resort
Walk,
or
something
something.
like that.
Anyway, it's an escape
Google
room.
Batman Escape Room Orlando, and it will come
That's
up.
what it is. Batman Escape Room Orlando, really close to our house.
Yeah, it was like 15 minutes away.
And as soon as we heard this was a thing, we knew we wanted to do it.
So it took us 2 years.
I don't know if it's quite 2. It's been a minute. But it is officially licensed. It's worth it. It's worth saying that. And we did it tonight. So anybody in the Orlando area, it is right here. And I should also say, they don't know we're reviewing it. This was not a sponsored thing. They didn't say
planned.
come. They didn't say come cover it for Holy BatCast. They didn't know who I was. I was incognito. They have no idea who did their escape room tonight.
Oh my God.
And now we're gonna savage them.
World famous
Online.
podcaster Andy DiGenova.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty big deal.
You are.
I'm surprised they didn't recognize me anyway.
Huge deal.
So no, they in no way solicited a review. They didn't know they were getting a review.
But go do it.
We went as just normies because we wanted to go, and we love Batman.
Yeah, we do. We wore our Batman shirts.
And we wore our Batman shirts.
Yep.
So we are looking cool.
We are cool.
We're pretty cool. So yeah, so it is called the Dark Knight Challenge at Escapeology, and they gave us keepsake rubber bracelets.
Yeah.
And
Boop, boop.
which is helpful because now I could remember what it's called.
I know.
So we just got back.
Yep.
And I thought, of course, it's a Batman related experience, and we
Yes.
need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So again, anybody in the Central Florida area, if you are listening and you're a big Batman fan, you might not have even known this was out there. I barely knew myself. The only reason I knew is because I keep tabs on themed entertainment, and I was like, oh my God, there's an official Batman escape room. So,
Yep.
honey,
Yes.
what'd you think?
I thought it was super fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like any escape room, there are times when you're frustrated.
That is true.
And there were definitely a few times where I was frustrated, but we didn't yell at each other. It was just the two of us.
There was a moment where we were a little frustrated with each other.
I didn't know what you were saying.
Yeah.
I didn't understand your directions.
We need to work on our communication.
For the 10 seconds, we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. But it is worth noting that, yes, it was just the two of us who went
Yep.
through. We had no strangers. We had no other friends.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool way when you book it. Like, you can book up to 6 people, but you're not going to get booked with a stranger. So if it's just the two of you, it's just the two of you.
Which is fine, because as we said, it's not huge.
No, it's pretty small.
So I think 4 people probably would have been fine, but 6 might have been tight.
6 would have been very tight.
Yeah.
Like, the rooms are not very big.
No, they're not. Because this one, it had like at least 6 different themes, or maybe even more. Maybe it was.
Yeah, there were several.
There were a lot.
They did
So
Scooby-Doo.
we need to go back and do
Murder
Scooby-Doo.
on the Orient Express. Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a couple licensed ones, which is fun.
That was cool.
And so yeah, this is the Batman official one.
Yes.
So here's the story. Batman is starting a crime-fighting training program.
Yes.
And we got invited.
Which we both giggled about.
Yeah, which was so funny because it's so un-Batman, but
We're
whatever.
like, oh, thanks, Batman.
But I guess if that's what you got to do. But the best part was, he introduces, he's like, yeah, this is my crime-fighting training program. So this is all just tests I've set up for you,
Right.
recruits. And you can solve this puzzle. And it was like, I set up this fake bomb. It won't hurt anyone, but if you don't find it and defuse it in time, it means you're not cut out for this. And it said, and your punishment is you'll never get to go through this program again. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think I could pay my $40 and go again if I wanted to.
Yep.
But that's the premise.
Yes.
And so, like I said, there's multiple rooms, which is normal for escape rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's also worth noting, I've done a couple escape rooms before this, but they have been very spread out between escape rooms. I think I've done 3. This was 4.
Yeah.
And so I'm not an enthusiast. And so I feel like every time I do one, I'm doing it for the first time.
I feel that way too, because I've done about 4 or so, and the last one we did was Back to the Future at City Walk, and that was a couple months ago.
And that one, that was like almost a year. Well,
Was it?
was it
No.
Halloween time?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Maybe. That one was really cool too.
But like, in the time we've been dating, I don't think we've done another escape
We've
room.
never done one together.
No.
No.
Except the two Back to the
Back
Future and this one. Yeah.
which was great. So my point is this:
Yeah.
like there are people who are escape rooms are like their thing.
Oh, for sure.
And they do them all the time, and so like
Yeah.
they know what they're looking for. They know what types of puzzles they're going to be asked to solve, and so like I feel like they're wired to what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I know there's.
I
those
don't think
people.
I'm wired to that.
But I would argue this. We're wired to like experience creation. It's our literal careers. And so like we are wired somewhere in between the regular person off the street and the escape room enthusiast to try to figure out the thing in the experience.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Right? Like
I think that's fair. I just feel like
immediately clocked the RFID. Immediately clocked certain elements that were in the right? Like
right.
There's certain things that give us a little bit of an edge, but not very much.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like a stupid person.
You're not.
But but I do feel like in escape rooms there are certain points where I'm like, why am I not figuring this out? What's wrong with me?
But I said this to you afterwards too, because so basically if you get really stuck, you can request a hint, and they still send you hints along the way, but if you request a hint, it's a little more overt, where it's like the code starts with this number, this word, this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we are smart enough that we tried very, very hard before any of the times we asked for an extra help.
We did. And
Yeah.
some of them were like, oh, we did figure it out, but this thing had to get nudged in this way or something.
Right.
But some of them
I
ultra
don't know
complicated.
who would have gotten there on their own?
I don't either. And again,
Like-
maybe it's the escape room hardcore folks. Maybe they know to think that, oh, this isn't just a puzzle. This is a 4-step puzzle to get the answer, because I didn't think
Some
that.
of the complexities of some of the puzzles were unnecessarily hard. Like
They're pretty complicated.
you would have to have something in your brain that just is wired so incredibly differently to have figured out that was what they wanted you to do.
Yeah.
So I did not feel guilty when we asked for clues for stuff like that, because it was like, cool, we have no directions.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about having fun.
Yeah, and I wanted to see it all, right?
And yeah, that's just it. We wanted
Yeah.
to see every piece of it, and we didn't know going in how many rooms there were.
No.
And because with Back to the Future,
There
were tons of
were
rooms.
a lot
and it
of
was
rooms.
amazing.
It
And
was-
again,
yeah.
this is not a paid endorsement for the Universal Studios escape rooms, but the Back to the Future one was freaking awesome, and I
Yeah,
loved it.
yeah.
But there were many rooms, and so I didn't know how many there would be here. Spoilers, there are 3. I don't know if I don't know if anybody's worried about that. There's 3 rooms, which made me feel better, because I'm like, for each room, it was taking longer than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, are we just really bad at this? And we're stuck in this room so long. And then when I realized there's only the 3 rooms, I'm like, actually, we were in each room the right amount of time.
Yeah, we finished with 3 minutes to spare.
It's true.
And we won.
It's true. We did. So
Suckers.
you start in a replica of the Batcave.
These are spoilers now.
I mean, it kind of.
If
but
you're gonna
like,
go, if you're not, I mean,
how many people listening live or are going to be going to the Orlando? Very, very few. But I don't think it's spoiler to say you start in a replica of the Batcave.
no.
I'm not going to tell you how to solve the problems.
No.
But if people, I think, at least want to know, what are you going to see?
Oh, for sure.
So you start in this replica of the Batcave, and that's when you get the transmission from Batman being like, hey, you're part of this training program, and you're in this replica of the Batcave, so you have an hour to defuse this fake bomb that I set up, and best of luck. But the Batcave I thought was really cool.
Oh, super cute. Yeah.
It was cool. Again, small, but cool.
Yeah.
And so that is room 1. There are things you have to do in there to get out of the Batcave.
Yeah.
Room 2 is
Blackgate
Prison, which I thought was an interesting choice instead of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Like, why Blackgate, not
I don't
Arkham?
know. It
But
wasn't like all of the Rogues Gallery that were part of it were your standard.
yeah, they all would be at Arkham.
They would all be at Arkham, you know?
But yeah, you go into Blackgate, and so then all of the puzzles have to do with the Rogues Gallery. And so none of them are in there, but there's things
Yeah.
representing them
Yeah.
that you have to figure out the puzzles in Blackgate.
Yeah. I liked that room.
That was cool.
That was a cool room.
And then
the puzzles in there were the hardest, but that
probably yeah. And then the final room was a rooftop on Gotham. And there is like projected Gotham on 3 sides.
Which was cool.
Which was very cool. Yeah. We didn't take a lot of time to enjoy the cool projection because
by then we had like 15
minutes. The clock was ticking and we had to stop this bomb. But halfway through, not even, maybe 2/3 of the way through, you realize the bomb is real. The Joker has taken it.
Yes.
And now it is a real bomb that will gas Gotham. And so it's not, the penalty is not just not being able to go through the training program. Now you've got to save the lives of people in Gotham, and Batman is busy.
Right.
So I kind of appreciated the little switcheroo
of
like the Joker takes over the program, because at the beginning I was like, wow, were they like not allowed by WB to like say that we're putting people in peril, and so it's this weird training story. Yeah. And then when the Joker is like, oh no, actually,
which felt very like the narrative you
right?
want,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So I appreciated that. And so then you had to stop the Joker bomb. And then you're right. The final one, it was a rooftop on Gotham. We had these cool projections. There were these gargoyles that did play into the puzzles. And you had to defuse the bomb.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which we did eventually.
We got there.
We did get there.
It took that, like, they kind of fire clues at you at the end to help you, I think.
Yeah.
Which was helpful.
It's like they don't want you to fail.
No.
And so when they know you're that close, then yes, then they just start helping guide you.
Figure it out. The hard thing though was like a lot of all the clues would play and the announcements would play in the first room.
So you had to
run back to the first room to like go listen
to see the clue,
and see the clue, which was funny. One of us should have just stayed in there and like yelled at the other one.
Because we would keep running back and forth.
Yeah. And running into each other trying to get the information.
Yeah. You're like, no, wait, it's this pattern. It's this step and everything. There are a couple nice little effects, There were some smoke effects. And again, I really like the projection and the gargoyles. And so I think overall, like the theming was pretty
super
nice,
cute.
all things considered.
Yeah.
You have to grade on a curve. It's not a theme park. It's not a dark ride. It's an escape room. But for an escape room, they did a nice job, especially evoking kind of the 3 flavors you would want from a Batman escape room. Yeah. Batcave, Blackgate, rooftop. Again, it should have been Arkham. Did you notice though, like when we were in that 3rd room on the rooftop, if you looked back, there was a big Wayne Enterprises sign. Yeah. So there were also some nice details like that were kind of easy to miss because you'd be so wrapped up in the puzzles.
And the bat signal was like floating in the projection. Which was cool.
And swarms of bats.
There was like, honestly, like there were cool details, but you're so focused on like looking for clues and puzzles and things and hidden stuff that you're like not really paying attention to the theming of it all.
We should do it again.
Oh my God. And just sit in the rooms.
And just be like, just solve it immediately and then be like, now let's just check out the details. And they'll be like, these guys are brilliant. We're like, we know.
Yeah, we're so good at it.
We're a real good crime fighters.
I do want to go back and do Scooby-Doo.
I know. Yeah, it always I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to go back. But again, in the moment, there were just certain ones where I was like, how was I supposed to figure that out? Like, do you have people, I seriously want to ask, like, do you have people who come through and don't need any hints?
I doubt it.
who just
like
get it.
Those super crazy escape people who have just done everything all the time, which that's got to be a rarity, right? Yeah. I am just dying to know the guy who had to watch us the whole time and wait for us to ask for clues what his opinion was.
I know.
Because we were we were very vocal about when we were annoyed. But it was fun. We were having fun. Like,
it was fun.
The thing is, like, it was all fun. It was not, like, the frustration is part of it. Like, that's part of an escape room. You're racing against the clock. There's pressure that you're under.
Yeah.
And, like, I felt like the experience was very Batman-y.
Yes.
Like, I feel like we had a very Batman experience tonight. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because, like, it could very easily have not felt that way. It could have just felt like an escape room with a Batman overlay or a contrived sort of thing that just didn't feel like, I don't know, authentic to who Batman is, right?
Yeah.
But like it definitely felt like we were in a Batman story.
Yeah.
Right?
And we talked about it. We appreciated that, like, they didn't pick a specific version of Batman or his world. They went with a very kind of classic comic booky version
of everything
and everyone. You know, there's no live actors in there or anything, but you know, Batman pops up on the screen with a transmission. Joker pops up on the screen with a transmission, and then when you're in Blackgate, there are these like case files for all the other villains, and it's all like comic book art. It's not, you know, it's not movies. It's not a specific, you know, cartoon or anything. They all just look like their comic book counterparts, which I think was the right choice.
Yeah,
because it's just sort of a very classic Batman feel.
Yeah, I loved that.
So that was good.
It's great.
Yeah. And so we saved Gotham.
We did it.
Go us.
Go us with 3 minutes to spare.
With 3 whole minutes to spare. But even then, we won, and we defused the bomb. But like then the smoke went off.
The smoke still went off. Yeah.
And which
I feel like it's probably just part of it.
Yes, I think it goes off no matter what because you want the big finale. But you were like, did we win?
I know, because I was confused because like we still had time left and the smoke went up, and I was like, wait a minute. So like, did the gases get escaped anyway? Like, did we not do it right? But then they came in and told us we won. Yeah.
So go us.
We did it. We saved Gotham.
We saved Gotham. So yeah, it was really cool.
We're not kicked out of the program.
So yeah, definitely. I don't regret it.
No, not.
I had a really good time.
Totally worth it. Like.
And it feels like the price point. Again, it was like $40 each, right?
It's pretty normal.
Which to me, I think is pretty standard. I haven't done a lot of these, but
there's like service fees and stuff like that. But what doesn't have that these days?
Right, but so that was good. You can make a reservation. We made a reservation.
Make a reservation online.
Yep.
It was super easy. No complicated system or anything like that.
Yeah. And I appreciated that they got the permission to do it. And
obviously they're licensing from WB because they've got Scooby-Doo and this.
Yes. Star Trek is Paramount. But
I was going to say that's not WB, right?
But yeah, I guess, I mean, why wouldn't WB? It was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you know? Yeah. Be some random escape room in Orlando, sure.
And I was telling you that, like, the look of Batman and the Gotham, like, the general aesthetic of it all reminded me a lot of what they did for WB, Warner Brothers World.
In Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like it might have been conceived in a similar timeline.
Well, the Batman and the Joker, they sort of used like a CG model for those two.
Yeah.
And they reminded me a lot of the CG versions that were used in the Justice League Dark Ride at Six Flags.
Yeah.
So I wondered if
all
they
that was right around the same time.
Yeah, and if they like reused assets from that.
The Macau ride, the Batman ride in Macau.
Yeah.
That has my always.
Well, I'm sad I never got to go.
I know, me too. We were so close.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, the Dark Knight Challenge. And then, again, we walk. I think we're selling shirts, but I didn't feel the need.
Were they Batman?
One of them was. They did a Dark Knight. They had a Dark Knight Challenge of shirt, but it was pretty generic. Yeah.
I like our bracelets better.
But they gave us
free
the bracelets.
Swag.
Yeah, free swag.
Which I feel like you only get if you win. Because I was saying, because that group that came out before us, I was pretty sure didn't win. First of all, they looked very dejected. Second, they were like definitely past time. And like, I don't remember her giving them bracelets.
Okay.
So
it is hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not easy.
It's hard. Like,
if you just want to chill, it's not chill.
It's not chill. But when it's done, it's fun, and then you look back and you go, "Oh my god!" and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense," and I'm glad we figured that out, and oh, how are we ever gonna figure that out? And you do like a little post game, but it was fun.
It was fun. We had fun.
Yeah, it was worth it.
I like doing that stuff with you, so it's good.
Good. Well, all right, folks. So
this is our post-date recap.
Our post-date recap. We share our post-date
podcast
with anyone who listens to Holy BatCast, and we love it. So
we got shaved ice and gummy bears. Is great.
We got Mexican food. Then we went to escape room. Then we got shaved ice. It was fabulous. Yeah. Then we paid the babysitter.
Talked about our kid most of the night.
That's what we do now.
Yeah, it's true.
Even on date night.
She's the best.
So all right, well, recommend, right?
I highly recommend.
Highly recommend. It was really fun.
10 out of 10.
I'm glad we finally did it.
Yeah, me too.
Good. So there you go. If you're in the Orlando area and you've got some time to go to a Batman escape room, it was really fun. I think you'd enjoy it. And like you said, it feels like a true Batman experience. Yeah. They did a nice job. And again, I think they did a nice job choosing the themes for the 3 rooms. Yeah. But if you do it, don't worry too much. There's only 3 rooms. So it's not like, if you're taking 20 minutes per room, that's about right. Yep. So don't feel too bad.
Yep.
Because that's what I was stressing about. We were in the Batcave, and it was at like we've been like in the Batcave for 15 minutes, and I'm like, crap, we're never gonna see the rest of this thing.
They did give us a discount code for our next booking.
Oh,
at
yes,
the
they
end
did.
of it.
Yes, they did. So we got to
go
book
back
Scooby-Doo.
again, we book Scooby-Doo with discount.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Escapology Kissimmee, which is in the Orlando area. The Dark Knight Challenge. We both really enjoyed it, so check it out if you're in the area. They didn't let us take any photos inside the escape rooms.
Oh, but they took up our picture together, which they allegedly were gonna send us.
Yeah, but like by the dumb backdrop. Like I wanted a picture in the Batcave or on the rooftop.
I know.
But they didn't let us.
They need a Batman backdrop.
They really do.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some promo shots online
I'm sure.
that we can use. But all right, well, thanks, Kathryn. Thanks for being on this
You're welcome.
this little mini segment on Holy BatCast.
Always happy to be here.
Well, it's always good to have you.
That's good. It's always good to be had.
Good. All right. Well,
Good
thanks.
night.
And we'll talk to you next time we do a Batman date.
Yeah. What is our next one gonna be?
Well, figure it out. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, very cool. So if you are in the Orlando area, you heard it. We recommend. It's a lot of fun. A little hard sometimes, but I guess isn't that what escape rooms are all about? But yeah, we had a blast and glad we got to share that with you all. We're not going to do an episode of The Batman this week because we had our hands full. But I do want to get a couple emails out of the mailbox. Probably not all, just in the interest of time, but let's do that. Let's check in with just a few of you fine feathered finks and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all Master Wayne.
First email here we got is from James. It says, hey guys, Andy, Brenda, Jamie, and anyone else on the episode, I have a question. What was a Batman toy you had growing up that you regret giving away or throwing away because you were, quote, too old for toys now? Mine was a Batman the Animated Series Batmobile that had an ejecting cockpit that then turned into the Batwing. At 33 years old, I regret it to this day. I still remember the perfect Christmas day getting this from Santa and wondering how he knew I wanted it because I specifically only had told my grandma it was something I had to have. Also, my son and I really enjoyed the Batman Ninja film that came out a few years ago and thought to myself, why hasn't DC explored doing more of these types of Elseworlds projects? For example, Batman in medieval times, or a pirate Batman, or a prehistoric Batman. I wanted to know if you had those thoughts. Thanks for helping me pass the time while I'm out delivering mail all day, James. P.S. Only 169 days until October and pumpkin spice everything.
Oh my God, James.
All right. Thank you, James. Amen to that. Like I am just getting to the point where I'm really starting to itch for Halloween and it's April. But I guess that's how it goes. I guess that's why Halloween exists, is because it's for those of us who are like, okay, we're starting to get there.
That's right.
But thank you for the message.
I'm all about the fall festivities. I'm way into it. Y'all know this. But I literally just got springtime temperatures here. I'm not in a rush to get there right now.
I feel you, Jamie.
That's fair. I get it. All right. So thank you, James, and hope you're doing well out there delivering mail. Good on you. So first question, Batman.
I'm sorry. I was just going to address it while I was thinking about, wasn't there a thing announced like a couple of years ago where they were going to do an animated movie with Batman as like an Aztec warrior or something like that?
Yeah, there
Whatever
was.
became of that?
I don't know. It was for Max. It was like for Latin America Max. But yeah, we haven't heard about that in a while. So I have no idea what happened to it.
So I wonder if it ever got made and it just never got released stateside, or if it just kind of went by the wayside, or what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if it was already out, we would know, because it's most like Batman Ninja was really made for Japan. Then they released it for us. I feel like they would do the same here. But yeah, I don't know what happened to that. But if you want to start there, are there any other Batman, Elseworlds, other time periods that you would like to see, Jamie?
I feel like something like like a Robin Hoodish kind of a Batman tale would be a good time. I'm kind of a sucker for Robin Hood. I'm into that lore. Uh, I suppose in that same realm, something along the Arthurian Knights would be a fun thing to do with them. Anything post-apocalyptic with Batman would appeal to me.
All right.
I mean, I pretty much slap Batman in it, and I'm going to watch it. But I don't know. Those are the kind of the ones that come to mind immediately.
Yeah. All right, cool. What about you, Preston? Anything?
Well, honestly, my thoughts are on his other question about the toys. About, what was the question? Was there any toys that we gave up?
Yeah,
Because
that you might have gotten rid of and now you regret it.
so yes, this actually goes back to a story I shared on our God, what was it? I don't know if it was our Christmas wish list episode, Brady, that's my morning co-host. Sorry guys. Andy. When we were talking about that around Christmas time, but mine definitely is you'll have to help me with this because there was a few of these. The Wayne Manor toy.
Oh, okay.
I lost one of those when I was 10 in a game of poker to my neighbor. And
Oh, yes.
about 24 hours later, I went over to his house and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need that back. That's like the only thing I can think of. What a degenerate 10-year-old I was. What an idiot. So yeah. But thank God I was able to reacquire it. So I didn't lose it to older age, that's for sure.
All right.
Just a side note to the gambling over Batman stuff.
Yeah, Jesus.
When I was a freshman in high school, I think I had my copy of the trade paperback of The Dark Knight Returns, and I let an older classman, probably a junior or senior, borrow it.
Oh God!
Because he saw me carrying it around every place. And me and him wound up making a bet on the Super Bowl that year. And I can't even remember who played in the Super Bowl that year. I want to say it was the 49ers and somebody. And we bet $10. And I think I bet against the 49ers. And I didn't want to pay the guy. So he said, all right, cool. I'm just going to keep your Batman book. And like that shook me to my core.
Oh no.
So ever since then, anytime I've ever bet on anything, which hasn't been a lot because I'm not a degenerate gambler, I remember that moment and I paid every debt that I've ever had in that respect. So yeah, I feel the pain of gambling over Batman stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah, when you don't have currency, you do have Batman stuff, right?
Well, I'm happy to say I kept all my Batman stuff. I don't know where it all is. It's all in boxes out in the garage, but I still kept it all. I didn't get rid of any Batman stuff, but I will say, do you know what I'm really sad about? And this is a little off topic, is my real Ghostbusters Ecto 1 and Ghostbusters. Those I had at my dad's house, and one day they just weren't there anymore. So I know he gave them away or threw them away. He was tired of them being at his house, and it still makes me sad because I was like, I never gave you permission to get rid of those, but they disappeared, and I'm sure he's just like, Andy's too old now. I'm getting rid of these.
Yeah.
For Batman, Batman, I've got it. And then as for like Elseworlds projects, I'll be honest, like I'm not a huge Elseworlds Batman guy anyway. I like a more traditional Batman, but of the options you threw out there, I watched Pirate Batman. I like pirates. I like Batman, so that'd probably be fun.
There we go.
As far as the toy thing, I never got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm too old for toys. I think I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm too old to play with toys, but they're still kind of cool to collect and look at and whatever else. So that's never really went away. I mean, I'm 49 years old, and every time I go to Target or any place, I still stroll down the toy aisle and look at things. But the one thing that, much like you were saying, Andy, I kept some of my toys at my grandparents' house, and then just one day, for whatever reason, they weren't there anymore. My Mego collection, which did include a Batman figure and a Robin figure, and a Superman.
Yep. Darn it. You're like, I'm smart. I'm going to spread my toys out, so I'll have toys wherever I go. And then the consequences of them being like, look, I don't think they play with these anymore. Let's just get rid of them.
It could just be because I didn't take care of my stuff worth of crap when I was that age, because I know at one point I lost a bunch of the clothes and I wound up having to put Robin in a Spider-Man costume. So it was like
Oh.
Spider-Man with Robin's head.
Spider Robin. All right.
Anyway,
All right, let's move forward. Next email, it's from Kalina Style, our new patron. It says, "Hey guys, Andy, Jamie, Brendan, and all. I've loved the show for years, and I often go back to listen throughout the archive. You make my week each and every week, and you're my top feel-good podcast. I want to take this opportunity to tease Jamie, who I adore, as he is the sea salt to Andy's caramel." I love that. Without much thought, when discussing the Teen Titans multiverse, he conflated the 60s Filmation tune as like Super Friends. I get it. I understand why, at least on the surface, but I'd like to point out, and the lads from Pencils to Pixels will back me up, I'm sure. The Filmation catalog needs more love. I was a Super Friends and Hanna-Barbera and Masters of the Universe Filmation 80s kid. Only as I've gotten older have I come to appreciate the pre-80s Filmation catalog. Again, I understand Jamie conflating the Filmation DC stuff with Super Friends at first glance, but here's a fun exercise. Watch an episode of He-Man and She-Ra from the 80s, and then an episode of the late 60s Aquaman, also Filmation. It's the color scheme that makes Filmation unique. Masters of the Universe normalized things like purple skies, green tigers for me as a little kitten. Watch the Aquaman series even on mute and you'll see the same unique visuals that Super Friends just never offered in terms of color. The seascapes of Aquaman will make anyone see that connection. Filmation gave us the first ever on-screen Diana Prince via the Brady Kids before Super Friends or Linda Carter. Filmation fostered and nurtured the Riverdale characters like Sabrina. Filmation gave us the late 70s animated Batman with West and Ward voicing the characters. They gave us essentially an additional season of the original Star Trek in an animated world. The demise of Filmation in the late 80s breaks my heart. Really, though, I just wanted an excuse to troll Jamie with a nitpick. Love y'all. Keep it up. I promise I'm going to join your Patreon. Meow, Kalina style. Thanks, Kalina. And you did. You made good on your promise. So thank you for that. And thank you for the kind words of us being a feel-good podcast. That makes me happy. That's the nicest compliment I could ask for. It's what we want to be. Hopefully it's happy. But yes, I know the difference between Filmation and Hanna-Barbera because I'm best friends with Scotty and Michael. So I don't have to worry about it. But Jamie, you've been schooled, boy.
yeah, I deserved all of that, I'm sure.
but yeah, like in the Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, there is the Filmation Teen Titans in there, and yeah, I think you just off the cuff were like, oh yeah, I like Super Friends, but I think it was a perfectly innocent mistake.
No, I did it on purpose just to get people wound up.
You're so mean.
I love trolling people.
But I same. I love Filmation, the 70s and 80s. Yeah, like even like you said, the 60s Filmation. They did what they did, and I do miss it too. So, all right. Next email here is from Brandon. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast, I'm curious if you've seen the Batman animated series Lego sets. They just released a skyline of Gotham that includes tons of Easter eggs, as well as Joker, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Batman minifigs. They also announced a Batmobile set that includes Mr. Freeze, Harley, and Batman with his cape in that iconic pose covering the front of him. I just want to get your thoughts. Keep up the good work." Brandon from South Carolina. Thank you, Brandon. And Brandon also attached photos. Brandon, look at you. So nice, doing the work for us. I love it. But the short answer is yes, I've seen them. Yes, they're awesome. Am I going to get them? I'm going to see how much I can hold out. Honestly, I was going to say I'm more tempted by the skyline, but honestly, I'm tempted by both. But I've not made any final decisions yet. The skyline is so cool because it can be mounted to the wall like a picture.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is just awesome. It could go, right by my Lego Batwing that's on the wall. But yeah, these are great, and damn them for making them, because you're just gonna tempt me, and I don't need the extra temptation. Preston, I don't know if the Legos are a thing for you.
Man, well, I will say, unfortunately and fortunately not, because all of my money would would go to that. I have seen what he's referring to, and that is amazing. The skyline is brilliant, and yeah, the fact that it can be mounted to your wall, like, come on. Yeah, first I'm just like, between the money, between good God, the time I would take to do that, I might need to sit on the sidelines. I look at Lego much like I look at Funko Pops. I never got into Funko Pops because I knew that if I bought a single Funko, I would buy them all.
Mhm.
So I'll let you guys stick to that, and I'll just look at the pretty pictures.
Love it. Jamie?
So we're talking Lego sets here.
Yeah.
I am not like into the Lego sets. Like the Star Wars ones I know pretty well, only because my son has bought so many of those over the years, but I have not kept up with anything to do with Lego sets.
All right. Well, when you get a chance, you can look these up. Yeah, they have a new line for Batman the Animated Series, and they're pretty rad. I have seen them, especially because so many of you nice folks out there, as soon as these drop, you send them to me, and I do appreciate it. I don't appreciate the temptation, but I love that you guys think of me, and you're like, hey, Andy, and I'm like, I know, it's so cool.
I
So
can't believe how much Legos cost.
it's madness. But yeah, they're great. So thank you, Brandon, for the heads up. They're so cool, and we'll see if I pull the trigger on these. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, we're going to stop there. Still got a few more emails to go, but again, this conversation went a little longer than expected, and we got stuff to do. So I'm going to save any other emails. We'll do it next time. But thank you guys. We love hearing from you. We love the thoughts, the comments, the heads ups, the questions, all that's good stuff. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you could just send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com, and then hopefully we'll get to that next time. But for now, as we're going to wrap up this episode, it was a fun chat about posters with a little escape room bonus. So we enjoyed ourselves, and we hope you enjoyed yourselves. Jamie, thanks as always. It was a blast having you back.
Well, it was a good time being here. It was an interesting discussion. I'm kind of surprised it took 10 years to get to that topic in particular, but
right?
it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Over 400 episodes, and there's still stuff we haven't covered.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
We may have to go to 1,000 now, Andy.
There you go. Speak it into existence.
Oh, man. Why do you hate me? Anyway, anywhere we can find you, or are you good to just chill?
I'm pretty much, podcasts here, Real Fans. We're kind of winding up some activity on Real Fans right now that's going to be released soon, and things that we're discussing about doing shortly thereafter. Real Fans groups on Facebook, but my social media footprint is pretty low these days.
Drop that letterbox, Jamie. Come on.
Oh yeah, letterbox. I mean, of course, since I have Preston on here and he is the chief advertising executive of Letterbox, we got to make sure we drop them a note.
Well, you mentioned Real Fans. Very soon, in a matter of a couple of days, there will be a new Real Fans episode. We teased it last week, but the good news is it happened. We recorded it, and it's going to be released very soon. And that is our Real Fans summer movie preview, which will include Jamie, Preston, and myself, as well as Hunter Fagan and Tim Rooney. So that was a lot of fun, and keep an eye on the Real Fans feed for that, because we always enjoy doing that.
And anybody who knows how I feel about Deadpool as a character or anything else, buckle up.
All right.
And Andy, I hated to see that the, by far the most anticipated movie of the summer has been delayed.
I know.
What is up with that? Jamie, did you hear about this?
I did, and I'm stunned, I tell you. Stunned.
The summer is ruined, guys. Why even bother? So this is the price we pay for recording in advance is we gave a whole conversation about Craven, and then those SOBs delayed it on us. It's not a summer movie anymore. But oh well. The episode's recorded. I don't care.
Yeah, what are we to do? We must wait longer for Craven the Hunter.
You're killing me.
Bastards.
Hey, between a couple days ago when we recorded that and now, I forgot that movie was coming out.
Well,
I
surprise!
have several more months of forgetting that it's coming out. So
now it's Sony's Christmas gift to us.
But hey, I'll give it its chance. I'm just probably not going to see it in the theater.
So to quote the great and late Norm Macdonald, "Happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap." Anyway, Preston, what about you? What are you up to?
Yeah, man. I mentioned you can keep up with me over on Letterboxd at Preston967. I'm on Twitter under that same handle. You can find me on Facebook, Preston Green. You can hear from me on the upcoming summer movie episode on RF for RM. That is just a yearly highlight for myself and us. Let's see here. Oh, you can also keep up with me on Horrors from the Vault. You mentioned my buddy or our buddy Hunter earlier, and
Nah, you can have him.
yeah, he's mine. He's all mine.
Jamie's arch nemesis.
That's right. I've never seen arch nemesis get along so well. It's great.
Well,
actually.
they're frenemies. You know, that's how it works. They're like mean girls.
We have the most non-converging taste in movies of any two friends I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
And yet, unlike people on the internet, you don't despise each other. It's funny how that works,
Well,
right?
it's only because he's too quick. I've tried to stab him several times, and he's too slippery. He keeps getting away from me.
But speaking of that slithery guy, yeah, we do a show with our buddy Dan as well, called Horrors from the Vault, where we kind of disorder style go through tales from the crypt. So if you love horror, if you like crypty, as we call him, the Crypt Keeper, keep up with us over there. We have a great time. Episodes release weekly. Again, Horrors from the Vault. But man, thank you guys so much for having me on. Obviously, it's such a pleasure to be a guest anytime. I'm with you guys. So had a blast, man.
Dan
Awesome.
and I are now best friends too, because I found out that we both love Atlanta pretty equally. So we're going to meet at a halfway point, get a hotel room, get a big box of Zaxby's chicken, and rewatch the whole series together. It's going to be
Yeah, you guys aren't too far from each other. That's true. That's a good call.
Oh, I must have missed that conversation, but okay. Great. Well, this was fun. Jamie, Preston, it was a pleasure having you both. Hope you enjoyed being had. But anyway, everybody out there, thanks for joining us. Thanks for downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. If you like the show, something else that you can do to support us that doesn't cost a penny, it just takes a little moment of your time, a nice review. A nice review wherever you get your shows is very much appreciated and goes a long way. We would love that. You can also find Holy BatCast again on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and YouTube. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that email address again is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at manscaped.com. If you're going to buy something, just use that promo code BATSCAPED for your 20% off and your free shipping. But that will do it for this episode. On behalf of Jamie and Preston, I've been Andy. This has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Woohoo!
All right, just under the wire. Sorry, Preston, I didn't know you
dude.
had a heart out, but
No worries at all,
we're
man.
good. But I mean, I do too. I have a whole family waiting for me, which is demanding. So
Yes,
I just have a bunch of house projects, so if you guys want to record for 5-6 more hours, I'm cool with that.
that's fair. Sorry, Jamie was busy. He can't clean the basement. We had to talk about some more movie posters. We were going to do 11 through 20.
Yeah,
This all
Jamie,
checks out.
just turn a movie on and occasionally start talking, and they'll think you're hard at work podcasting.
See,
I'm sure.
that works. Sometimes I don't even have a podcast. I just close the door and talk to myself.